Welcome back to the Gunks podcast, where we ignore ancient warnings and absolutely read the cursed book out loud. This week we watched The Mummy, featuring Brendan Fraser, punching sand, screaming at bugs, and somehow being the coolest man alive. We've got plagues, scarabs, and sandstorms with a face, and a villain who just wants his girlfriend back. Aggressively. Is Rick O'Connell the greatest 90s action hero ever? Let's get into it. The opening prologue, Ancient Egypt. We see the high priest Imhotep's forbidden love with Anaxunamun, right? Is that how you say that? Anaxunamun. Betrayal of Pharaoh Seti the First and Imhotep's curse. All right. Is this your guys' favorite movie?
It's pretty close.
It's up there, man.
A top five?
It's definitely top five.
Yeah,
Man.
definitely top five.
I'll put it to you this way. Just obviously, it's that age-old question: what's your favorite movie? I think that's an impossible question.
For sure.
But I will say, when it comes to The Mummy, there are a handful of movies that I can personally say that I remember the first time watching them. I remember where I was. I remember who I was with. The Mummy's definitely on that list, and I definitely popped it in because it was on VHS. It was when it came out on VHS, and I turned around and watched it again right after I had just got done watching it for the first time. It was that good.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I watched it last night. Well, I watched it like I started it in the week and then finished it in the week and then watched it fully last night. And man, this movie just holds up no matter what. No matter how many times I've seen it, it's still great. It's still fun. Scary. I love this movie.
And it's hot. Wowza! The lady.
I thought you were talking about the desert.
Oh, it's hot there too.
The ladies, there's one lady. Well, I guess two. Anaxunamun.
Yeah. I like her better as a mummy.
Who's
we're
better?
If we're talking that, we're talking about the men too, right?
I mean,
yeah.
Brendan is a stud in this movie.
Are the Bay and all that dark cloak, man? I'm just saying.
Yeah, we'll get into it. But man, I'll say it later on. But oh my god, what a stud!
Yeah.
But the prologue, that opening, just seeing the pharaoh's statue being built, and just the opening scene, like slowly going through Egypt, is seriously the coolest thing. And just immediately coming into Anaxunamun with Adape narrating, it was just amazing. And like, I think we're all kind of young. The first time we see Anaxunamun just in all gold and just that's it. That don't lie. How many of y'all paused that movie?
Oh yeah. Like if I was there, it would just I would turn my head and there would just be gold around my mouth.
Just said he could come in like touched you and just
exactly. Who's touched you?
Right where her butt is would just be missing gold.
Like, no, I just went to the bathroom, and then you're over there like digging with just gold mouth.
Not a man among you or among us could actually blame you, but and there goes the stand. Awesome. But yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna say that as far as that goes, this movie would not have been as good with you as the cursed mummy. It just, you'd be pretty lazy about it. I don't really feel like cursing people and absorbing people. Like, I'm just gonna go back to bed.
Yeah, they call me the gold digger.
And scene, Finn.
Yeah.
No, prologue though, like obviously Anaxunamun, that scene was put on repeat as a kid. But the whole opening, I don't know what kind of CG, like who they had doing their CGI, the animation, but whoever did do the whole opening scene with ancient Egypt, I mean, even for its time, like you were just saying, this movie still holds up. It is not like even the mummy graphics when we get to that part.
Legit.
Okay, yeah, it's a little dated for 1999, almost a quarter of a century ago, but I mean, dude, it's still scary. Like that, everything about this film is still great.
Yep.
Still.
And I definitely want to mention, like, especially if we're talking Knox on the Moon, like the costume design as well that went on her. Like, I know she was just wearing body paint, but all the jewelry she had in her hair, the gauntlets she had on her arm. I definitely wanted to talk about that just because it looks so good.
It does.
Same thing with Imhotep's priests. Like, they were also painted gold, and with their I don't know what they're called, like what is it, sashes? I don't their wardrobe,
like
robes. Like, I just thought that was super, like, just the costume design in this movie was absolutely fantastic. And that's one thing I definitely wanted to hint on throughout the movie. But just starting this scene, yeah, her whole entire design, the way she was painted, the jewelry, it just looks so cool and just like really gets you into that Egypt vibe.
Yeah.
Who is that actress? I don't know her from anything.
So
she's a French model, isn't she?
Yeah, she was in, I'm not sure if you've seen The Curse of La Llorona.
Yes.
She was the mom in that who was trying to protect her boys at the beginning of the film. She's also done a lot of voice acting as well. But yeah, that's
Patricia
one
Velasquez. Velasquez.
Yeah, that's one thing I really saw her recently was in The Curse of La Llorona, and didn't recognize it was her at first, so I had to look it up. But yeah.
Hell
now
yeah.
that you say it, I think I can see it.
When I want to say, dude, whenever the Pharaoh Seti, I think is that his name, Seti, when he comes
Seti,
in,
yep.
man, and it just you could just feel like this guy is of power, like he's just got that walk and everything is so cool. And I forget what he says to the guys, like, what are you doing here? And
what are you doing?
he knows something's up. Like, what a man that like knows everything that's going on in his shit. Well, almost. your old lady's kind of getting it out, but yeah, he walks back there and she's just standing there, and he still knows like something's up, and walks over. Yeah. She's like trying to be all like, oh, I'm just standing here, and instantly like sees that that smear. Is like, who the fuck touched you? I'm ready to kill somebody. What a cool dude. I wish he was in it kind of more, actually.
Yep. And also, even just again the costume design, that gold headpiece he's wearing. Like, even like whenever he moves and everything, I'm not sure exactly what material is made out of, but it was just like it was perfectly put onto his head, and it just looked amazing. And the sweet gold sword that Imhotep pulled out of his belt, like that thing was just awesome.
Yeah. So, like, well, not really sure who did the prop. I'm sure plenty of companies were in charge of the props, but as far as the visual effects, Industrial Light and Magic, the same guys that did all the it's part of an offshoot of LucasArts, I believe. George Lucas's company that did all the special effects for Star Wars back in the day. But yeah, I mean, even to this day, like all your Marvel movies and stuff, they do like, I would say 85% of the visual effects that are on the big screen these days. So yeah, no wonder it holds up and it looks so good, and what little CGI there. And see, I think that's one reason why this movie still holds up the way it does. Minimal CGI.
Yes.
They still use practical, they still built sets, as much as they could. Not knocking CGI. I think we all know it has a time and a place. I think a lot of scenes can't be done without modern CGI, but makes you appreciate this film. It was almost the end of an era, back when they started leaning heavy into CGI. But again, you watch this movie, you can barely tell, and even the scenes you can tell, it's it's pretty minimal. But yeah, like the opening scene, of course, old Emotep, he gets dined out once Seti realizes his old lady's been touched, and they give him the old Caesar treatment and just stab him to death. And yeah, the whole failed resurrection, really the whole opening sequence of this movie is paced so well. Because it's not rushing through anything. It's not really dumping a ton of exposition on you. It's like, nah, I mean, it's almost a small story in and of itself. Like, I want to see more of ancient Egypt, which later on we kind of get with the Scorpion King and stuff. But what they did for the beginning part of this movie is still so great.
Yeah, and I want to throw in, especially we're talking about the whole Pharaoh getting axed. His mistress, which again, Anck-su-namun, literally stabs him in the back.
Yeah.
Great. She grabs that dagger. And like when I was younger watching that, like I was just like, Jesus, like this is probably one of the most brutal killing
Yeah.
that I didn't see. I mean, you got to stab in the back. You see him just take a whole baseball swing at him, and then the silhouette of them just going back and forth, killing him down, man. Like it was just, it was intense. Like
For
the
sure.
first time I had seen that, and then out of nowhere, or I should say, the pounding, like the Pharaoh's Magi come in, and dude, I think they personally have one of the coolest looks as well. Like they walk in, I mean, obviously all ripped as hell. Got those curved swords, just like going in to protect him. And again, just another cool costume design concept. But yeah, what Shope was saying is that this man loved her so much they flat out broke into steal her body. And then, as it says, they went too deep into Hamunaptra, where all the wealth was. But then they went so deep into Hamunaptra that it may anger the gods. And that's a really cool look at what this movie is going to entail, because I mean, pretty much Imhotep is being turned into a god with the next, I should say, next scene that we're talking about. But the whole resurrection. I don't want to get too far ahead. I'm not sure if anyone else wants to throw in, but just the resurrection scene itself, the whole chamber lit up by torches, surrounded by priests, and then our first introduction of the Book of the Dead. It was just really, really cool.
It was great.
I will say, I kind of am on Emotep's side here. I mean, whenever the priest people come in, she even says like, my body's no longer his temple or whatever. So clearly, like this, he pretty much, I would assume, like took her. I don't know how the marriages worked back then, but
multiple wives.
Yeah,
so
like she was not happy, didn't want
felt
this.
more like an object.
Exactly, but there's no getting out of it. There's no divorce court, So,
well, sort of. It just entails knives.
Knives,
apparently.
yeah. So, yeah, Emotep's he's just a romantic,
Dude's in love.
Yeah, dude's in love.
Yeah.
Let him be. I will say I did
And,
feel for his priests because they get mummified or whatever, and they're just like, what the fuck we do? We're just doing what we're told. What the hell?
I just woke up for work today. What did I do?
Exactly. This is bullshit. What a horrible, horrible way to.
Well, and since you bring it up, so it is because of this opening scene, and dude, like it jogged a memory. So I watched this movie 3 times this week because why not? It's great. It's one of those movies you can fall asleep to. And so that opening scene where all the priests and Imhotep are getting mummified, they're enduring the Hamun die. I had to make sure because the final part of that curse, after they like cut his tongue off and wrap him up and like shove him in a sarcophagus, they dump scarabs on him and bury him alive with those scarabs. So just for everybody else's peace of mind, scarabs only eat dead tissue. museums actually still use them for, like, if they need to get dead flesh off of a bone, they'll just dump the bone into a case of scarabs and then pull it out a couple days later and it's completely cleaned off. Yeah, them digging into a human being and eating them alive doesn't happen. It's just for the movie, but I had to look that up in 1999 after seeing this movie for the first time just to make sure, because I was always that kid that liked to pick up bugs and whatever. Anyway, I'm like, wait a minute, am I going to be in Egypt? Like, in my mind, am I going to be Indiana Jones in it out in Egypt one day and pick up a beetle and it's going to bury its way into my arm or something? Like,
I better know what I'm getting into
so
here.
I had to look that up just to be sure. But yes, the curse scene, though. I mean, yeah, Colby, like, how horrible.
Horrible.
Like, I mean, I get it. He messed around with the Pharaoh's old lady, but tell me, come on, it couldn't have been all that bad. Like, he didn't deserve that.
Yeah. Let him just go.
I gotta say about that scene is, like, the screams coming from the priest as they're getting, like, mummified.
Mhm.
That stuck with me big time because dude, those guys really sold it. Because I even paused that scene, like, you can kind of look around and see who's doing what. There's a dude over here getting his tongue cut off. The other person, like, you can see the poker going into him. Yeah, just those screams. And, like, Imhotep, he's kind of chill, like, he knows what's coming, but even after he got his tongue cut out, you can see, like, the fear in his eyes as they start to wrap him.
Yeah,
Like,
dude,
I don't know about you guys, but I
intense.
get claustrophobic and he's getting wrapped up. He's just like, oh no,
fuck.
oh no. Yeah, that part really stuck with me. And I did write down what Autobets say. And if you guys are cool with me saying that real quick.
Yeah.
Talking about the curse, he said he would arise a walking disease, a plague upon mankind, an unholy flesh eater with the strength of ages, power over the sands, and glory of invincibility. I know this dude slept with his mistress, but, like, why would you risk giving this dude all this power with this whole die thing? Like, it didn't make sense to me at all.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Same.
They fucked up.
They fucked up big time. But it was sweet. As soon as they did that, the mummy roar, and dude, that mummy roar, whenever the statue is, like, the Anubis statue is, like, cutting to the present and aging.
Yeah.
Oh, that thing sent chills down my spine the first time I heard that.
Same, dude. Well, because you don't expect it. It just does this weird camera pan up to the face of Anubis, the statue, and then as it's rotating, it's like rapid aging through the centuries, and that's why I say the beginning part of this film could almost be its own movie. I mean, I guess in a way, if you wanted to cut it off the front half of the movie and make it its own little short story, yeah, it's the Curse of the Mummy. But what a great transition. And that's one thing, like, that continues throughout this whole movie that none of the sequels have. The pacing is perfect in this movie through character introduction, and like you even just said, how the whole mummification scene, the priests are getting tortured and everything, like, it is unsettling, especially watching that as a kid. And one of my notes I took just watching the intro, this is one of the most violent PG-13 movies, like, ever made. The implied violence, it plays with your head in a way. Like you said, you see the pharaoh getting assassinated, but it's all done through silhouette, so there's really no blood in this movie. But it just messes. They do such a good job at show don't tell, and they just carry that throughout the entire film. And so, yeah, that whole rapid age sequence, where does this take place? 1926 is, I might be off by a couple of years. 1926 is when Jonathan starts messing with Evie in the museum. But I don't know, Rick, we get to our first introduction to Rick O'Connell, the man, really needs no introduction, but Brendan Fraser's character. And I don't know about you guys, but part of me as a kid always wanted to join the French Foreign Legion after seeing this movie. The only stipulation is you have to speak French. I don't speak French, so whatever, that's going to have to wait, I guess. But
I doubt Rick does too, honestly.
yeah, no, a little bit, enough to ask where the bathroom is, I'm sure. But what a great, like, throws you right into the action. So our intro to Rick O'Connell after, it taking place in ancient times, flash forward to the, like, I think it was early 1900s, 1920.
I think it was 1923.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. So 23 is the battle scene. And how awesome. I'm not really specifically sure who they're fighting. Obviously, it's the French, and
I think they started looking it up. It was the Magi.
Was it the Magi? Was that whole army the Magi? I'm not sure.
I think it was. From what I've seen, like on the internet, doing some research, at least from my understanding, it's the Magi trying to keep them away from the place.
Away from Hamunaptra. Okay, and I kind of assumed that. I just didn't know if they were all Magi or if this was like a legitimate, like if they were in a war at some point. Like, but no, they were, the French Foreign Legions out there looking for Hamunaptra. They obviously find it. Rick O'Connell, and of course, everybody's favorite little shithead, Benny. Benny. Yeah, we'll discuss more Benny.
He's the first thing I wrote down here on this part 2 is we meet Benny for the first time. Their leader like takes off running, and Benny's like, "Well, you just got promoted,
Yeah.
And Rick's like, "Well, you're with me on this one, right?" Benny's like, "Your strength gives me strength." And 2 seconds later, he's gone. Like, he's such a little shit.
And the run he does as he's getting away, tossing that gun, he's just like, getting the hell out of
there. So good. I love Benny. He's such a great character in this movie. I mean, I hate him, but he adds that comedy into this movie that it kind of needs, because it's a dark movie. This shit's scary as hell. So
yeah,
to get a little light with that little shit, super good.
Dude, in that fight scene, when they're all stacked up, obviously the French take the first shot. You see people dropping, and the accuracy coming from the Magi shooting from horses, knocking people out.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a cool cut from different scenes. You show one, the guy whips a sword, hits the dude in the back, he drops.
That shit was awesome.
Drops. And like
that looks like a heavy sword. Like,
oh yeah,
sword.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
I mean, dude, like how unsettling to see a wave. They're doing their battle cry. They're running straight at you. The whole line fires a shot. Yeah, they take down a wave or two. They're still coming. And like you said, they're just firing from horseback. They're whipping swords. It's like, these guys are not to be fucked with, like, yeah. I almost don't blame Benny for running, but like, I don't know, if I like to at least tell myself, if I was standing next to Brendan Fraser, I'd stay. I wouldn't run.
I'd die for that man.
Yeah,
but he was
he
was a badass, because like you see the other soldiers starting to flee, and here he is still picking people off again with a freaking bullet in his mouth, as the badass he is. And one thing I gotta note, because obviously he runs out of bullets, knocks dude off the horse with his rifle, drops it, immediately grabs 2 revolvers. Rick O'Connell is a spray and pray kind of shooter. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but that boy goes through bullets.
Yeah.
Because you got the revolvers done, tosses those, pulls out the 1911s, starts going. But like, you know what?
Drops one of those.
Left to right. But that's one thing I noticed about Rick, is that boy goes through bullets, man.
I was thinking this watching the movie of, I need to count how many times a gun gets emptied and they just throw it. They just
because it's quicker. It's quicker to switch to another gun than reload.
Exactly. They're done with that gun, and then there's another part too I'll bring up as we go.
The part that I like that Colby said was when he says that you're in charge now. It says so much about who Rick is in that one sentence. Like
Yeah.
he's been with the French Foreign Legion. We don't know for how long, and he's
And
worked
as
his
an
way.
American,
And as American, and he's worked his way up through the ranks. And that little line there says so much about who Rick is. And
it's without question he's
line.
next in charge.
Yeah.
Yep. One thing I really want to point out for progressing in this scene is obviously he gets cornered. You know, he's got, 12 Magi around him about to shoot, and here he is he's ready to take it. Yeah, he closes his eyes, but then obviously the roar happens and they all bolt. So this is like the first time we kind of see the mummy's powers. I really like the part where obviously the sand's coming up and he's dodging it. I'd like to know how they did that. I'm not sure if like all of that was CGI, but that was really cool. But one thing that made me think is that Imhotep just saved the dude that is going to bury him later in the film. You guys ever like kind of catch that when you were watching it?
It's a little ironic, like, because I mean that could have been the end of Rick right then and there in front of the statue, but because of their superstition, which obviously it's not just superstition, but they hear the roar and they see the sand start to spray up from the ground, and they all bolt, and of course Rick does too. But yeah, I mean it's Rick is definitely throughout the entire course of the Mummy series that he's involved with, luckiest dude on the planet. Somehow he's got plot armor totally, which is, but it's he makes it look good. He makes it look easy, and he makes it look believable. Like I would believe a guy like Rick would find himself in and get himself out of that situation. There's just no doubt in my mind. But yeah, so once he starts wandering the desert, and of course, like, actually, Blaine, you brought it up earlier, the Magi dude, the main one, he narrates the film from the beginning. Originally, they were going to have Imhotep be the narrator, but then they realized, well, wait a minute, Imhotep is ancient Egyptian. He wouldn't be speaking any form of English, nor would he talk like that. So that doesn't make any sense. They ended up switching it, scrapped that whole idea and made the main Magi dude narrate the film, which, now that it's that way, you couldn't imagine it any other way.
For sure.
But so yeah, the Magi are just chilling up there on that cliff, and they're watching the sole survivor, Rick, just wander out into the desert. And he's even like, this one may yet survive. Like he's even like, there's something kind of special about this one, but let's just see what he does and leave it up to the gods, so to speak. Like just let him wander. And so yeah, and of course we don't see at that point what happens to Rick. He's just left to wander. And then it time skips by 3 years. So Blaine, you said it, 1923 to 1926. That's when we're introduced to Evelyn in the library, which, what a great introduction.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful librarian Evelyn.
Yep. Even in the librarian outfit.
Her up on my wall.
In the library outfit with the glasses. That's
glasses have to be there. They have to.
Yep.
I will say she knocks over the book, so it kind of, you already know like off the bat that she's kind of like a nerdy klutz. But it's like, can we put some screws in the ground? It's 1926. Why are we just got these bookshelves all, and they're not very wide? Like, this is bound to happen to anyone.
I mean, hey man, she's losing her job as a librarian. She should join a circus after balancing on that ladder for so long. That was impressive.
That was impressive, yeah.
That was impressive. None of us can do that. I'll tell you that right now.
Didn't I might be making this part up? Didn't she actually practice? I think for that scene, Rachel Weisz did do the ladder stunt. Like they had her practice on stilts with a professional, and then they just gave her like a prop ladder that was basically like a giant pair of stilts, and she actually did all of her own stunt work in that scene.
Wow.
I could be
That's
making that
awesome.
up completely. I don't think I am. I'll have to do a little more homework on that scene, but I think I remember like they actually did that. And again, just leaving it, going back to the practical effects. These days, a library being trashed would have been done with CGI, but they actually did. I don't remember how many times they actually had to. I think they only did that scene once. At least for the prop guys, I would hope so, because
Wow.
even watching
That
that scene, oh my god, like I'm imagining, okay, this is a library and I'm walking into this shit, like, and it's somebody's job to reset that and do it again, you know what I mean, for the movie. It's like, oh, that
Please
would
get
take
this.
like, please god, no, don't let that be me.
I
I don't want that job.
I like
no.
Dr. Terrence when he comes in, he's pissed immediately and he says, "Give me frogs. Give me locusts. Anything but you." So you know this isn't her first like, oh
No.
my god.
Exactly.
So I was rolling on that part. He's so fed up with it.
What a memorable line. I mean, out of the many in this film, but even to this day, like I still remember him, give me frogs, give me locusts, anything but you. And it's like, oh, he's had it. It's definitely a Monday.
Yeah.
Even that line, he says, "Clean up this Michelin." That always sticks in my head too.
Yep.
Well,
Like so good. So yeah, that's our intro into Evie. And of course, she's supposed to be cleaning up her mess. And then we're introduced to the film's, I don't know about second best character, but I know he makes me laugh. He's such a, I like to think of Jonathan as the anti Benny. He's just a good Benny,
I
they're the
was
same
thinking
dude.
the exact same thing. They are the same person. Jonathan's just a
Uh-huh.
little less of a piece of shit. Like,
Yeah,
Like
a little bit.
slim margin. You're like a hair better
but
than Benny.
only
And
like cares
yeah,
about himself, I mean, there is
Which
love
always
for his sister, but if you got something he wants, he's gonna steal it, and he don't care.
well, and you know what, Kobe? Excellent point. I think you just hit the nail on the head. I think that's the only difference between Benny and Jonathan is Jonathan has Evie to keep him in line.
Yeah,
She's not going to let him fuck up too much.
yeah.
But
If she wasn't there, he'd
Benny,
he'd definitely be just as bad as Benny, probably.
exactly. So yeah, we get our intro into Jonathan, and again, just another one of those scenes that did get me as a kid.
first
Him
jump scare.
hiding in the sarcophagus and
Yep.
that dead ass mummy just, you know, uh, terrified. Like it got me. I remember jumping as a kid watching that movie, and then Jonathan pops up just laughing his ass off, and it's like, oh, what a prick! But totally sets up who Jonathan is at that point.
Yeah, no
And
caring
that's
for the dead. Like like that's a real mummy. And he's
yep.
fucking with it.
The fact
Well,
that
Evie
also
even
one thing I loved is that the scream, it transitioned like to that horrible blood curdling scream into his laugh was just absolutely
uh-huh,
perfect. But
uh-huh.
like even I think that this is like it's still one of my favorite scenes is when he's getting out of the sarcophagus. He's like, "I'll have you." No, like he just completely nuts himself out to get out of the sarcophagus. And I have a feeling that was an accident, but if it wasn't, like that's just comedy gold because I crack up every single time that I see that scene.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah, Jonathan. Well, and like Eve even calls him out on it. Have you no respect for the dead? And he's like, honestly, dear sister, sometimes I'd rather join them. And it's like, yeah, he's just a carefree, like, does not have any care in the world about rules or anything but himself. Like, as long as he can get his next score and his next drink, that's Jonathan. And let's see, where does it take us from that point?
It introduces us to the map for the first time.
Yeah.
The key.
Carry us into that scene.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, he still the comedic effect. He lifts up the mummy leg and he finds the map and brings it out. And he's like, I've been searching forever. Please tell me I found something. And just one of the coolest props. And I honestly wish I had that. She just twists it and it just opens up and she finds that map. And I just think that is one of the coolest props in a movie that I personally want in my collection. Just everything. And she said, I think you found something. And here we are. Get brought to the curator, but just that scene alone, finding the key and her opening it was so cool.
She asks him, where did you get this? He's like, oh, a dig somewhere, but totally stole it from Rick. He's such a piece of shit.
Just kind of reading along the synopsis in the Wikipedia article here. And yes, so they find the map that leads them to Hamunaptra, the existence of which now is considered a myth. Jonathan reveals that he stole the box from an American adventurer, treasure hunter, Rick O'Connell, who discovered the city while in the French Foreign Legion 3 years earlier. So yeah, I mean, really, it just kind of the whole side fade, kind of like in Star Wars, they do that whole side fade, and they're out and about talking to the jailer, trying to track down Rick O'Connell, where the dude he stole this box from. And the warden, we'll get into that, but what a great character.
So great.
Again, this movie is so full of memorable characters, and every single one of them are great in their own way, no matter how bad they are. But this is one, he's clearly not meant to be a likable character. He's holding our boy Rick in jail. They don't even remember. I can't remember. What's the line? What did he do? He was looking for a good time.
Apparently,
he was just looking for a good
time. He had a very good time.
Apparently, he had a very good time. Yeah.
Can I say something? Can I say something real quick about him? He reminds me of Watto from The Phantom Menace. I'm not sure if it's just the beard or the way he talks, but like every single time I see him, like those two together, he just reminds me of Watto so much. Yeah. And I
think the same thing. If we can back up a little bit to the previous scene, the doctor fella that is Evie's boss, when he burns the map, like the side of the map there.
I forgot, yeah.
I remember when Christine watched it, she was like, what a fucking prick. And I was like, yeah, but, later you find out that he's a Magi. And it's like, what a clever way to try to stop them from seeking it. And it's like, he might be kind of a dick, but it's for their own good.
Yeah, like, you don't need to be messing around there.
So well. He hit it so well, didn't he, Jesse? Oh, look at that.
Oh no.
Don't you burned out the part where that shows the treasure. He's like, it's probably for the best.
Probably for the best. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm glad you
washes his hands of it. There, I did my job. Yep.
But back to the warden though, he is such a freaking incredible sleaze bag.
Oh.
I
love him.
I wanted.
You can smell him.
You need 10 more minutes of him. Like,
yeah,
I want more of this character in this movie. Like they killed him off a little too soon, I think.
Yeah, a little quickly.
Little quick.
I think they did that just to leave us wanting more of that character. Because if they would have given us because I look. So that I think that's what is it cut to at that point when they meet the warden? So yes, Rick is getting ready to get hung. All right, they're bringing him out to the gallows, and Evie's sitting next to the warden, pleading, I will pay £100 to save this man's life. Please, I would pay £100 just to see him hang. It's just like he's not interested in what you're offering until £300. And what else? I'm a very lonely man. It's a Mac. Like,
Everyone's
nope.
laughing at him.
Yeah.
I do want to back up one scene because when Rick gets brought out and they're talking to him,
Yeah.
and he just looks at Jonathan. He's like, "I know you from somewhere, don't I?" He's like, "No, I've got one of those faces," and just boom, hook in the face, and he just drops.
It's so
And Evie
good.
just doesn't even care. She just walks over him and starts talking to him more about
It's
because she knows her brother did some shady shit, and I need to get information.
She's so
I-
used to it.
exactly. It's
Oh
I
my
I had
God.
wrote that down because it just goes into what kind of character he is. This is not the first time.
Exactly.
He was slimy and got knocked out for it, and Evie's just so used to it, not even phased
Yep.
by it anymore. Like, my
Yep.
brother, he deserved it, 100%.
Exactly.
To talk about Jonathan again, another difference between him and Benny is that Jonathan is the bravest coward in the entire world.
He is. He really is.
That's a really good point.
He does come through when it counts. Like, regardless of all the bad you can say about the guy, he's still there at the end of the day. You know, he's not Benny. He doesn't take off and leave your ass for dead.
He had the big ass nuts to steal from Rick O'Connell, and so he's obviously got some kind of bravery inside of him, even if it's just stupid, you know.
Yeah,
Exactly.
bravery and stupidity are easily confused sometimes. So yeah.
So bringing us back to the hanging scene. So yeah, we talked about the money offer, and then after she slaps his hand, Rick
He
drops.
gets all embarrassed. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I have to throw in a fun fact here. Brendan Fraser almost died during that scene.
What?
So yeah, there was a definitely big issue that we had here. So during that scene, Stephen Sommers, which I'm going to talk about him a little bit, he is the director of this film.
Yeah.
So he actually directed. So before this, in the prior year, 1998, he directed Deep Rising, which Shope and I have talked about on this podcast before, one of our favorites. He also directed Odd Thomas, which is another one of my favorite movies. He was a part of Van Helsing's 2004, writer of The Scorpion King, and he helped produce The Mummy 3. So he's been in it. Okay. So in this scene, he asked Brendan Fraser, he's just like, "Hey man, I need this to be more believable." He's like, make this more believable, sell it. So Brendan Fraser, he said, he's like, "What I did is like I was on my tippy toes. All right. And then we had the stunt coordinator up above holding the rope. But the problem was that the stunt coordinator held it too high. And Brendan Fraser, he literally got choked out. He said he woke up on the ground. Everything was spinning. And the stunt coordinator was just like, "Hey, man, you did it. You joined the club of near-death experiences." Which kind of takes me, I'm going to say one thing that kind of plays into this. The same thing actually happened to Michael J. Fox in the Back to the Future 3. They had the hanging scene, and what happened is that he said he didn't want to have the safety platform because he wanted to make it look more real. He actually hung there for several seconds before the director realized what was going on, and he immediately cut it. So him and Michael J. Fox kind of share the same aspect of almost dying by rope in a movie.
Damn, that's crazy.
Just want to throw that in. That's a fun fact we
mean,
learned about this. But yeah, back to the hanging scene. How intense was that?
It definitely looked believable.
For sure.
But just from the movie, I mean, if just from a story aspect, dude, like, again, what a great buildup. You've already got this corrupt warden that you're sitting there trying to bargain with. And then what does he do? He tries to hit on you by grabbing your thigh. You tell him no, which just ramps the tension up in that scene. You know, the embarrassment, the crowd's laughing. What's he gonna do? Fucking hang him, like pull the lever. And as soon as Brendan Fraser drops, it's like, like that's it. He's done, but he's still sitting there. Oh, what an unfortunate circumstance. His neck did not break. Now we have to see him hang. And it's like, God, even as a kid watching that, I'm just like, oh God, fucking save him, or shoot him, one or the other. Don't let him just suffer. But of course, we, How much does Blaine? You might know how much does she pay to save his life before they cut him down? Isn't it like 5 or she offers him 30%?
Yeah, 30%, and then he's like 25, and she's like,
Yeah.
deal.
Because he cuts himself down. He's an
And
idiot,
he's like,
but whatever. That's what it is. You're telling me this son of a pig knows where Hamunaptra is? And it's like, yes, like cut him down. And so they believe it, or the warden believes the story. They agree to 25%, and old Brendan Fraser gets cut down. Although, he's looking a little rough, the long hair, I mean, like pretty scraggly. And of course, Evie, the scene prior when Jonathan gets punched, of course, Rick kisses her before he gets dragged off to the gallows. And that, of course, comes up later on here in a little bit. But once they're saved, I'm trying to remember. Oh, they jump on the boat. They head on the boat to the, that's docked off the Nile, and they start a whole new scene. And Rick's all cleaned up, and that's when Evie's like, getting all swoon. And I don't blame her. Do not blame her. Like, he went from looking from a disheveled hobo, nasty looking dude to like, damn, Rick O'Connell, you clean up nice.
Yeah, she's like, who says there's no humidity in the desert? She's like,
I loved as well. Like she's flat out saying, like, I think he's a filthy, rude, and complete scoundrel.
Yeah.
And then he just pops up like, anyone I know? Just so suave. And she just immediately wet, complete wet. Like, you just see her completely turned, flushed and everything. She looks him up and down. He's all dashing and everything. Man.
Yeah.
I like that the whole boat scene is amazing. Like, the tone of it, they're chilling. You really get to kind of know the characters a little more. The chemistry with Evie and Jonathan, or Evie and Rick, they really start to get that chemistry going. And we meet the other Americans, and they are, by definition, like Americans.
They're Americans.
Yeah.
No question.
Yes,
yeah. They love their guns and their bourbon.
Yep.
Gambling.
Chaser.
It's so hard. It's hard to pick a favorite character from the movie, but it's so crazy that even those three Americans are on the same level of awesomeness as everybody else.
Yeah.
Like, and they're not like bit parts, like they're in the movie quite a bit, but they are so memorable. And like, I know I'm skipping ahead, but I can't help it when Jonathan's just like, ugh, Americans, it just cracks me up every time.
Every time. It's like,
Americans.
But we know what you're talking about, Jonathan. You don't have room to talk as a Brit, but we do know what you're talking about.
It, and we're proud of it.
Yeah, we are. We are.
Yeah, we get introduced to the Americans, and of course, Jonathan's sitting there gambling, and Rick finds out that he's been telling them kind of their business, and they make that bet.
Idiot. He's just like,
gentlemen, Jonathan, you can like hear like the muscles as he squeezes. They like creak, he squeezed the hell out of him.
Yeah, Jonathan is not the smartest bulb in the drawer, to say the least. But yes, the boat scene is great, for establishing the American characters. They're all, like you said, I mean, they're all unabashedly American, but they do have individual like traits that kind of make them stand out, because I mean, I don't remember their names, but I know the characters. Like, if you tell me which one you're talking about, it's like, oh yeah, that dude. Like, they're again great character actors all throughout. This damn mount, I swear to God. So yeah, the gambling scene where Jonathan is, running his mouth and Rick kind of gives him the whole shut the fuck up. It jumps to Evie, who's trying to keep herself distracted and maybe read a book, but she's dropping her clothes all over the place. Like, she is totally falling for Rick at this point, and she's still hung up about the kiss. For heaven's sake, it wasn't that good of a kiss anyway. And that's when old Captain Hook, Magi dude, he's got that knife hand, comes out looking for the key. Well, and again, for this scene, he calls it a key. Even we as the audience, which, okay, we watched the intro, we know it's a key, but still, it's like, what key? The little puzzle box, and so that kind of kicks off the whole battle on the boat, which, again, just going back to the practical effects, and my favorite scene in this, I guess this whole part is when Rick O'Connell, before the battle starts, and he pisses off Evie, and she's kind of sitting out on the deck trying to get some fresh air, and old Rick comes up with that bag full of guns
I want
and
that
just
bag.
unrolls it on the table. Dude, like, I had to look up that. It's a real thing. I mean, it's customized a little bit, but those bags like are real things. And I'm like, I want one. Like,
I want one. Yeah.
Yes.
And I don't want to. I got to get me some brass knucks. I got to get me that shotgun. I got to get me those old French
Whatever that
dual revolver
knife claw thing is that Evie picks
Yeah.
up. Give it. I want it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, and I gotta
she's-
say,
Yeah.
oh god.
No, go ahead, man.
I was gonna say I
say-
love this scene as well because after Evie kind of walks off a little bit, like Benny's just hiding
Yeah.
behind there and he finds him and he's like but one of the best things he's like I should kill you, and he's just like, think of my children. He's like, you don't have any children. He's like, someday I might.
Someday I might.
Seriously, one of the best lines in the whole entire movie.
It really, again, it just establishes more of like what a piece of shit he is, like
Exactly.
he'll just say whatever.
Anything
Yeah,
to get
and
out of a
Brendan
hairy
talks
situation.
about, he's like, so you're the one that's leading the Americans. He's like, what, you're just gonna leave him out there to die? He's just like, no, these guys are actually smart. Paying half now, half later.
Half later, yeah.
Exactly. And then he's just like, why are you going back? Like, you never believed in it. And he's like, that girl saved my neck. And then he looks at me, he's like, you always did have more balls than brain. He's like, and just like, goodbye, but he tosses his ass over the side. And just his scream gets me every single time as he's going over. It's so good.
It's so good.
That is one of the
thing-
most memorable. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, two things. Sadly, I think I have to hop off to put that boy to bed.
All
But
right.
real quick before that, Stephen Sommers, is that his name, the director?
Yeah.
Him and Benny are like, I guess, good friends in real life, and like that's why he got cast in Deep Rising as well. And,
Nice.
because he plays what's his name in Deep Benny? Is it Benny in Deep Rising 2?
No, it's
No.
Santucci.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's got a weird nickname though.
His name's Joey Pantucci, but yeah, he just goes by Pantucci.
Joey, that's right.
Yep.
If I can get that boy down in time, I'll hop right back on. But
Okay.
All right.
but if not, just carry on. And if I can't get back on, I enjoyed being on the Mummy one.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
All
man.
right, man.
I think we'll be on for at least a minute. So
Yeah.
join us if you can.
All right, man. See you guys.
But when he gets tossed off, and like you said, his scream when he's O'Connell, it's like that. As soon as I hear O'Connell, it's like fucking Benny. It's
Every time.
but it's like you said, it's so memorable.
I want to do this the next time I watch this movie. I want to count how many times Rick grabs Benny and slams him against the wall. It's pretty much anytime they come in contact, he's grabbing Benny and
He's
throwing
so much
him.
for him, dude.
I'm just
It's
gonna go
crazy.
off the cuff and say it's at least 7 times.
At least.
Like
I mean,
that I can, just rapid viewing that movie through my head. Like at least 7 times Rick is throwing Benny into something or whipping a chair at him.
yeah.
My favorite, my favorite scene of "Fuck You, Benny" was when Rick just picks up that chair because Benny's tossing that. And again, we're not quite there yet in terms of the film, but just he grabs that chair and just
Yes.
whips it at Benny's
It's
back
so
and
good.
takes him out. So
You know,
good.
what's funny is that I believe they made an action figure of Rick with the there was a whip, a fan, and the chair, all as like usable items with that action figure.
Oh, that's
Makes
So
awesome.
that's say that. But progressing the scene, you talked about, he grabbed it. So we're gonna progress a little bit further. The fire starts.
Yeah,
Jo-
we're on the boat. Yeah.
Yep. So Jonathan comes in. Obviously, Rick and them escape. Jonathan comes in, finds that the key's there. Obviously, steals it from the dude, knocks him into the fire. But everything's going crazy, and the gunfight starts. And I love, Rick's going around again. Just that action persona. He's got his two revolvers, and one of the best scenes is that dude is he's reloading, bullet, 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 and then Evie just grabs him without getting shot. He's like, I got this, and just like starts picking these guys off left and right. And it's just, I love that scene so much because he's so focused on getting shit together, and she's just like, I'm gonna be that sidekick real quick. Hold on, and pulls him over. I just love his reaction. He's just like, I was okay, and it just keeps going into it.
I love to like right after that you see the Americans, they're all behind like the flipped over table and they're just having like the time of their life, like yeah. It's so
I got
good.
something to add to that, Jesse. Colby. So this was a goof that one thing I noticed, and I found this as well. As I'm watching that, when they're all firing, all the Americans actually have earplugs in. It's really hard to see. This was part of a goof's part that I found out. But yeah, as they're shooting, if you look closely, all of them actually have earplugs in as they're doing the gun battle behind the tables.
I mean, blanks are still kind of loud, so yeah, I don't blame them.
Yeah, especially when there's 1,000 blanks. Like they are just unloading.
Dude, and again, just I know I sound like a broken record at this point in the podcast, but the practical effects. I'm just scrolling through the Wikipedia article. The budget was $45 million. Money well spent. I mean, the boat scene when all that fire's just breaking out everywhere, everybody's like scrambling, trying to get off. But like you said, the Americans just having a great time, just taking cover and blasting those dudes. It's like, and of course, cut to Jonathan. He's got the key, he's got what he needs, but he just looks over and sees that all the group of Americans just hooting and hollering. Americans, and boom, big explosion. So Jonathan's coward ass is, of course, off the side of the boat, which arguably probably the second most memorable scene in the movie. O'Connell, looks like I've got all the horses. Hey, Benny, looks like you're on the wrong side of the river. And he starts fucking losing his shit because it's like, oh yeah, like I guess that in the mess of things, that makes sense. You're traveling down the Nile. What side do you need to be on? You guys ended up on the wrong side, so good luck finding your way on this side now that the boat's sinking.
And you also got to take in the fact like how wide the Nile River actually is. Getting all those horses over there, he's just like, his reaction of being pissed is completely legitimate. I would be pissed too.
Well, and which obviously, they get in out of the water. They're, what are we gonna do? All my tools, all my equipment, all my clothes. Kind of transitions into the next scene where Rick has his moment with Evie the same way she did with Rick once he gets himself all cleaned up. And Evie
damn.
Let's see, 1999, I was like 12 when this movie came out. Seeing Evie in that dress awoken something in me, for sure. But yeah, I mean, we were all thinking the same thing. It was all over Rick's face when Evie comes out of that tent and she's wearing that veil and the see-through dress. Yeah, Rick is just like, he deer in the headlights, like, whoa, what do we got here? She cleans up nice. And it's like, yeah, Rick, it's cool, man. We're all thinking the same thing. But it was just kind of cool to see. And again, it goes back to pacing, how Rick, and Evie experienced that earlier when Rick got cleaned up. It was almost a mirrored scene to that experience they both. And again, just it just makes the movie like it keeps our attention. It floats. I mean, I almost feel like stories like this are almost like a lost art form. It was just such a great, almost unnecessary scene. It really didn't add anything to the movie, other than, again, it just mirrored what they did before. But then that's when they meet up with the Americans. Everybody's together again. Everybody's got their shit after the boat wreck, and they're all just kind of waiting in the desert, standing on their camels and their horses and everything, and like, what are we waiting for? And the mirage scene, like, still so cool.
So
like,
cool.
They're all just standing there in the middle of nowhere, like, what are we waiting for? And you'll see, Rick's just waiting, and the city just kind of appears out of nowhere. And that's when they have the race. And I would almost argue that's the point. Not to say that any scene prior to that point was boring. It definitely wasn't. But once they get to Hamunaptra, that's when everything kind of ramps up a level, in my opinion.
Yeah. I do want to go back real quick. I just seen in my notes, I forgot to mention this. Back on the boat, just because, again, I love this character, the warden, and everything's on fire, and he comes out, he's like, O'Connell, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And he's like,
I forgot the warden. Yeah.
He's like, wait here, I'll get help. And he jumps off the boat, and he kind of is looking around like, okay. And then like he realizes he ain't coming back, Again, it's so good.
And like, I also want, because since we're going back, I'm going back as well because I got to talk before Hamunaptra, them going through the desert. I mean, some of the coolest like landscape scenes that you see in the movie, just the four of them on the camels trekking their way through the desert, and even just that little aspect at night where like Evie's falling asleep and she kind of falls onto Rick, and he's just like gently, he's very gentle with her. I've noticed, like he's just like kind of pushes her off, and then Jonathan, old Warden's just over here snoring. He just like fucking wicks him with the whip. Probably one of the funniest scenes again in the movie that I just like. It's Jonathan, like you're disturbing his sleep. He just like smacks the shit out of him. But as they're going through, Rick looks up on the hill and those magi are there, and then you just kind of zooms in on Arda Bay, and he just says, "This one is strong."
Mm-hmm.
Like he realizes who he is. He's coming back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to throw that in because, before that he was talking about, the desert will take him, and then the next time he sees them, he's just like, yeah, this one's
That's
strong.
what it was. That's what it was. Yeah. In the beginning, he says the desert will take care of this one, and then later it's because again, that's 3 years later that he's seeing him, and he's like, okay, like this one's strong.
Exactly.
And yeah, I mean, all of that. I mean, and also, obviously before the race when they're kind of drinking, he may have been a smelly bugger, but he had good taste. He steals old Warden's scotch, and they're all getting fucking shit tanked in front of a campfire, which perfect. I mean, I don't know. That's my happy place, having a few drinks in front of a campfire. But what a gentleman. Rick and Evie, they're having that moment where you think they're gonna kiss in front of the campfire, and or is that when they're in Hamunaptra? I might be getting my
that's
you
when they're
went ahead a couple of scenes.
Okay, yeah, I went ahead. So yeah, they race. I mean, because not really much happens after the race. Obviously Evie wins the race. They bet $100.
How do you think
I can beat?
They won the race? Is it because they threw Benny off, you think? Because there's no way that those camels are beating
Evie was ahead of him. Evie was definitely ahead of him, so I think Rick was trying to catch up. But yeah, Benny just beating the crap out of Rick with that whip. And
that whip.
Oh no, actually, I take that back. Benny and Rick were tied. Benny was actually in the lead, and then Rick knocks him off, and then she goes around him. Sorry, I had to correct that.
Yeah.
Well, if Vinny wasn't such a shithead and would play fair, like, dude, if you wouldn't have smacked Rick with a horsewhip, maybe he wouldn't have tossed your ass off.
And
Like, it is
again,
what it is.
and again they meet and Rick fucks him up. It's
Yep.
every time they meet. It's great.
Yep. So they finally get into Hamunaptra, and they're talking there, and obviously Rick comes up, and they're about to descend into the tomb. So she's cleaning that up, and he's like, "What's up with these mirrors?" And she's like, "Ancient mirrors." She's like, "It's a cool little trick. I'll show you." And like again, that whole little thing, you starting to like her. He's like, "Here's this little set here, kind of help with your archaeology." And she's like, "Yeah, thanks." And the warden's just looking at him. He's just like, "What the hell are you looking at?"
Yeah.
And then we drop in, and like one of the coolest things is I love when they finally descend. And Jonathan's come down. He's like, "Oh, what's that god awful stink?" And he looks up. He's like, "Oh,
Never
it's
mind.
the warden coming down." But I thought it was really cool how that played into it. Like, they cleaned up the mirrors, and then she does that. She's like, "Let there be light," and then it pings. You see all everything light up, and he's like, "Oh, that is a cool trick." I had to throw that in because I think we were getting a little too far ahead, because like this is where we find the sarcophagus. This is where we find Imhotep. But we're progressing, and if you guys want to throw something in, please say something. But they're moving further in, and they're starting to hear these sounds. And one of our favorite scenes show up, because you mention it all the time. They start to hear something, and they're like, "What is that?" And he's like, "Sounds like bugs."
What do you mean bugs? I hate bugs.
Exactly. He's like, "What do you mean I hate bugs?" One of the best actual lines in that movie. And they keep going forward, and they hear the moaning, and who we run into, the Americans. And I know we said, like, the warden's a piece of shit, but he squared up and had that gun pointed. He was ready to fight just like anyone else. And Jonathan too. And he's just like, Benny straight up just like, "Hey, there's 18 of me and 4 of you." And he's like, "I've had worse." And Jonathan's like, "Yeah, me too." And he looks at him, he's like, "Yeah."
I have.
And he's got his little ass Derringer.
Yeah, it's a perfect gun for Jonathan.
I know I covered a lot right there, but is there anything you guys want to throw in, because like to the American scene? Because like,
I mean, it's pretty perfect in terms of you kind of establish the not really power struggle, but look, Rick, ain't nobody fucking with Rick. I mean, go ahead and bring every American you got on your team. Rick's still gonna take you down. You know what I mean? But they kind of Evie steps in, and she's right. She's 100% right. "Oh, come on now, children." Which, okay, that's fair. We're all swinging our dicks around, just stepping on each other's toes because we can. And she's all like, there are plenty of other places to dig. And she only says that because, like, as they're squaring off, guns pointed, she starts kind of kicking stones down into that crevice, realizing, oh, there's another chamber down there. Like, they're digging in the wrong spot. So, they give the Americans the dig site they want. They kind of creep down beneath the statue and start digging up from underneath of them. And that's what Evie's saying down there the whole time, right as they find the sarcophagus, when it drops through the ceiling. There are plenty of other places to dig, and we're just going to take it right out from underneath their noses. So they get left with a mummy, a gooey ass mummy. The Americans get their own surprise, which, okay, arguably they do find treasure, like the British doctor they have working on their team. This gentleman, this is treasure, but it comes at a cost. Man, what a crazy, again, I'm just trying to put myself back into that mentality, seeing this movie for the first time as a kid. And that British doctor yelling at the workers like, "Sayeda, Sayeda." Exactly. They're digging, and they pop that door loose, and they just get sprayed with freaking acid. And that one worker front and center just like looks towards the camera, and his whole face, and I'm just like, what an amazing, like, again, this movie just has everything, and it does what it does so well. So many jump scares for really, I mean, arguably not a horror movie, adventure horror maybe, but still scary. Like,
Yeah,
such a unsettling scene.
absolutely.
Uh,
I didn't even think about that, Brian. How she's like, there's other places to dig. Had she not done that, they would have been the ones to find. Uh, it'd have been flipped. They'd have got like the
yeah,
cursed shit. Wow, I wasn't even
yeah,
putting that together. Really interesting.
And
and they would have
one of
got
them would have been
blasted
melted.
with the
Yeah,
acid.
yeah,
Yeah, or maybe, you
Yeah.
know, I mean, maybe between Evie, Jonathan, and Rick, they're smart enough to recognize booby traps, but okay, you know, for the sake of argument, um, yeah, I mean, they would have been melted and it would have been them that found the mummy. Um, but the American team, of course, they end up finding the Book of the Dead, which, you know, according to Evie, the books were swapped. It was supposed to be, what's the other, the black one is the Book of the, no, the gold one's the Book of the Dead, or is it reversed?
No, the gold one is the Book of Amun-Ra.
That's right. Okay, so yeah, gold one's Book of Amun Ra, black one's Book of the Dead. The Americans discover the Book of the Dead with the canopic jars
Mm-hmm.
containing Emotep's organs, which one of my favorite classes in like 7th, 8th grade, Western civilization, when we studied um, ancient Egyptian and all that stuff. I mean, so cool. And seeing that as a kid for the first time, like, oh, canopic jars, you know, I'm like, we just learned about that in school.
Yep.
What do the Americans end up doing? They each take one as a treasure. The old British dude, he ends up taking the book. Everybody's happy, and Rick and company are left with a nice juicy mummy that more or less looks like beef jerky. So, you know, of course, the Americans comment on that. We heard you found yourself a nice juicy mummy, and it's like, yeah, you know, haha, whatever. Um, but yeah, I mean, the scene kind of progresses and it kind of leads to one of the most famous lines in the entire series. No harm ever came from reading a book. You know, what does Evie do in the middle of the night? She sneaks over to old boy's tent while he's passed out drunk, snatches that book, decides to take herself a little peek. And your first indication in any horror movie, if you open a book or start playing a tape or, you know, fucking with something and the wind blows and it's giving you this real ominous, like, this something bad's about to
yeah.
happen, maybe just stop.
Something's up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So, before we get any further, we did miss a very important scene that I want to talk about. It's two actually. So, they find the mummy. I'm sorry, the sarcophagus drops down. They're talking about it, and it kind of cuts to the warden. The warden kind of snuck off, looking for stuff. And what does he find?
Yeah.
Gold.
Blue gold.
Blue
And
gold.
like he's like, yeah, he's like, he starts popping those off. He's like, oh, just one more, just one more. Just does the also as well. But you know, that one scene, he drops it, and Joe mentioned this earlier. That thing pops out and just like digs right into his foot, starts going up his body, and like you just see it go up his chest. And like, man, I just remember like thinking like, oh my god, like what kind of pain he was feeling. It goes up, and then you just see it go into his brain, and like you even hear the crunch
The
as it
crunch.
gets in there. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But like,
Dude.
it stops right there, and it cuts back to them. That mummy pops out, and they're just like, is it supposed to look like that? And they both just go, juicy.
Juicy.
And like they start like, you know, they're finding everything in the actual thing. So we got the mummified scarabs in there, and they realize, oh shit, this guy was buried alive with these scarabs. And then on top of that, they see on the lid of the sarcophagus, he had carved something that says, death is only the beginning. And like you think about that, like they ate through him, like as they're like slowly eating him, as she mentioned, he was able to get his hands free and carve that out. So not only is he being eaten alive slowly, he was able to do all this. So you got to think he lasted in there for a couple days before that, and he just like slowly. Oh my god, man!
Horrible.
Just thinking about that is horrible.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to mention those because those are two huge scenes. Because that brings
No,
us to the one of the holy shit scenes, and the warden
the warden. Yeah.
comes back
He
and he
just
just like head first right into the side of the wall, and it's just like holy shit. Holy shit! Like I don't know about you guys, but that scene right there sticks out. Probably one of the most prominent scenes I remember in the movie is just him cracking his
well,
head into that.
and they do a really great job of build up where the scary stuff isn't supernatural at first. Like they kind of
Yeah.
give you crumbs, like like we talked about when Rick's in front of the statue and that face kind of drops out. They hear the mummies go, brah, they whatever. They kind of give you crumbs of supernatural stuff, but for the most part, like up until this point, it's mostly like bugs and the environment and people like are out to get these other people. It's just it's grounded scary. But then
Mhm.
at this point, once he yeah, once they discover the mummy, and of course uh Elle starts reading from the book, and yeah, or Evelyn, should I say, starts reading from the book. That's when, and again, just going back to when I was a kid, seeing this, like, holy crap. When she first reads from the book, the Yatu way, Yatu way, Yatu way, and it just
I love that
echoes.
scene.
And then, like, this inanimate corpse just, like, screams right at the camera. And it's like, my britches were fucking full, like it was so like, okay, this has been scary enough up until this point, but you're gonna like bring this thing to which again, you're watching the mummy, so of course, but so scary. And that's when all the
Yeah.
kind of really bad stuff starts to happen. Let's see, what do they do? Oh, yeah, because the Magi show up in the middle of the night right after Evelyn starts reading, and they're killing some of the workers, some of the people, but mainly, Rick whips out his dynamite, and they kind of reach a standoff, and the Magi dude tells him, we told you to leave and you refused. Now you may have doomed us all. And so whatever, they end up kind of parting ways, like, you need to leave, we need to figure out a way to kill this creature, and but I told you, like, whatever, like, you're being ridiculous. But yeah, when they start to leave Hamunaptra and the mummy hand just bursts through the ground, like, I think that's kind of for me, like, okay, we've crossed a line. We're not just dealing with dudes trying to kill us or scary freaking bugs that'll eat us alive. Like, nope, you guys woke up a monster, and he's not going to leave you alone. It's just
Yeah.
such an unsettling scene.
And speaking of which, and Colby, please, I know we're talking a lot. Please feel free to jump in and say whatever, dude. So like you mentioned that, and like right before that, that's when everyone flees into the tomb, and the mummy's alive now, and
Yes,
they're running, and the American with glasses falls, gets left behind. Benny flat
that
out
poor
just
bastard.
and you see him just. I love how they did the aspect of it just being like he's freaking out. He hears something, it's blurry, like you see that ominous figure at the end of the hall standing there, and next thing you know, it's gone.
Uh-huh.
So him freaking out in there, and then it cuts to Jonathan, Rick, and Evelyn, and they're running, and then just that sand pile comes up, and those scarabs burst out, and they're running. Like this feels like a video game aspect, It's like something out of Tomb Raider. They're
Yeah,
running away, and they're getting chased, and they jump off to the sides, and you just see this river of scarabs going up, and then Evelyn, of course, falls through that false wall, and now she is face to face with the mummy. And here's the whole love interest, or the reason, like why he's chasing after her. I will be right back. I'm sorry, I just wanted to throw that in real quick.
No, you're good, dude.
Going back to we talked about earlier the like props. That skeleton prop, the
Yeah.
mummy prop. Oh my god, it looks so good.
So good,
do they
dude.
not?
Like,
do they not realize that when they're making like why? Why go CGI? Is it just easier?
nowadays it is practical effects just cost way too much, but you'll never recreate that look. Now, when the mummy comes alive, okay, yeah, you can totally tell they shift over to
For
CGI,
sure.
but what you're saying, the practical effect when they first open the sarcophagus and that juicy,
Oh my
nasty
god, it's
looking jaw
terrifying.
shifted mummy,
Yeah.
dude, and you just don't get the same effect with CGI because there's always going to be a part of your brain that knows it's fake.
Yeah.
So you're just like, I'm not scared of that. But seeing a real life prop, like something you can physically touch, and it looks that grotesque and that scary, like you're going to be afraid. There's just something that makes us afraid of that. Um, the with what Blaine was saying, how it establishes Evelyn is not an he already chose Evelyn as his sacrifice, who he's going to sacrifice to try and bring back his old lady, which we don't know that at this point in the film. Of course, the crew, they escape. Our boy Rick blasts the mummy on his way out, like with a shotgun, and
And that's
that's kind of
dude,
what he's telling.
that scene right there where the mummy goes, and he's just like,
Yeah, exactly. Like the mummy
one of my
just screams
favorites.
at him,
Oh
and
my
Rick's like,
god,
and just blasts him. It's like, yeah, dude, what a man! Like, again, just Rick being Rick.
shotgun will
So
solve
yeah,
everything.
if violence doesn't solve all your problems, you're not using enough of it. But
American way.
Rick and crew, once they have their little standoff with the Magi, and of course, the Magi, they're just there to tell them, hey, you guys fucked up. Everybody ends up running away. Rick, of course, I got him, and Magi dude's like, no conventional weapon can kill this creature. Like you
Yeah.
guys are royally
He
screwed.
will not eat. He will not sleep. Like this guy is coming.
He's gonna chase. Yeah,
Dude,
he's gonna chase you to the ends of the earth.
Colby, I love that you said that because that line right there, like he will not eat, he will not sleep, like he will like just keep going. Like, dude, that hit so hard. It really did. But
No, dude,
Was
I
anyone
agree.
else kind of bothered though that these guys come in shooting and killing, and then it's just over? They're just like, you have 24 hours to get out of here. That
yeah,
I
right?
love this movie so much, but there are just little parts sometimes
Yeah.
where it's like,
Didn't
is
really
that
make
really?
sense,
Yeah,
right?
is that really how?
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
chalk it up
I get it.
to Rick's luck. Again,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
his
yeah.
plot
He's got that
armor.
luck.
He's well, and yeah, you can argue, okay, sure, he whips out a stick of dynamite and threatens to suicide everybody there, but obviously, they don't. They're basically, hey, you need to leave. You guys are definitely screwed, but we'll do what we can to try and kill this thing.
Yeah.
And Rick takes it seriously. Him, Jonathan, Evie, they all hightail it out of Hamunaptra. And the next scene when they're in the hotel and Rick's just throwing all of her shit into a suitcase just as
Hold
soon
on.
as she's.
I gotta time you out because there's an important scene right before that, and that's when Benny meets an Emotep.
Oh my god!
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Just because I want to talk about that.
No, by all means, talk about it. It's just another. Again, I think Colby takes the cake for the perfect description of Benny, but like, what a shithead! Like that whole scene. So yeah, Blaine, since you brought it up,
Yeah.
throw out that scene real quick.
Yeah, so I mean, Benny, he's alone in that tomb with his gun and torch, just like freaking out, and the torch catches the Emotep, and he starts walking towards him, and Benny, he's just like drops the torch and he's just like, and then he's trying to talk to it, and then next thing you know, he just pulls out all of his necklaces and starts praying. He's to all these different gods, and like honestly, the bow bow ooh, all like that it got me so bad. And then next thing you know, he pulls out the star, starts speaking. He's just like, oh, the voices are the language of the slaves, and he starts that whole deal with him. He's like, you know
I
what?
love how
If
they
you do
break
this, you'll
it
be
down.
yeah.
Well, I mean, Brenny, like, because it starts off with him just whipping out a cross, and he says, "Just please, our Father, protect me in heaven," or whatever, you know. And then it's like, okay, and again, that makes sense. Like anybody facing death,
Christianity is
okay,
huge. Yep.
right? Yeah, you just whip out your whatever faith symbol you're probably wearing around your neck and say a quick prayer before it's over. Fucking Benny,
Not
what is
Benny.
he whips out like he's got his bases covered. He's apparently a Buddhist, he's Jewish, he's Taoist. I mean,
Such a
like
piece of shit that he's gonna literally use every single god to pray to help him out.
I mean,
It always
well,
pissed
and
me off growing up watching that. I'm like, you shit, you don't believe in
what a
any of this.
sleazeball. What a I mean, you will do and say whatever you need to do to make sure that you're going to make it out okay. You don't give a shit about anybody else, but as long as you make it out.
But it worked, so you can't. It worked.
Yeah.
Look,
now
you can't knock his method. He survived the vast majority of this movie because he ends up whipping out the Star of David, and of course, Imhotep recognizes it, or the Jewish language as the language of the slaves. Obviously the slaves that built the pyramids, and he's all like, "Oh, I may have use for you," and it's like, "Oh shit," Benny found his in. So yeah, very important scene.
He, like you said, and mentioned later and like he's straight up his lackey, like he's gonna help him do his bidding, and in reward, he's like he has that handful of gold, and Benny, like he's gonna get paid, so he sees that he's just like, oh, I will do. What does he say? He's like, oh, my prince, right there,
my prince. Like Benny worships the almighty dollar for sure.
Exactly. So yeah, I want to talk about that. Then we're at the scene where they're at the hotel and Rick is just packing up her shit. So man, you go ahead with that.
Yeah. No, I mean, and that's when you can't blame Rick for being a sensible guy. Hey, you've got an undead mummy on your ass. What are you gonna do? Get the fuck out of Dodge? Like, what are you talking about? We're not staying here. But Evie, of course, being Evie, no, we're going to stay here and we're going to do something about it. And Rick doesn't have much say. It kind of sets the tone for Rick and Evie's entire relationship when she slams his fingers in the suitcase and he's like, God damn it. But she just keeps going, doesn't miss a beat, like just keeps telling him what to do, like what she is and isn't going to do. And basically the decision at this point is Rick just manhandles her, tosses her ass on the bed, locks her in the room and says, tells the Americans, you guard the door, she doesn't leave, no one goes in, whatever, gives them the whole spiel. And then they hit the bar, which at that point we're introduced to arguably my favorite character, other than the main cast, but like my favorite side character in this movie, fucking Winston.
So good.
Winston's the best.
The man,
dude. Like,
what's he say when he walks through that water?
Some fool spilled their drink.
Yeah, it's like walking in through the fountain.
He stumbled around with this was it, I don't even know what they would call it, like that. He's just got a chick on his arm.
Hell yeah.
Stumbling through, talking. And I love that because even when they get back to the bar, he flat out steals Jonathan's shot and he's just like, back to the airfield, gents.
My favorite line of his is, unfortunately, I should have gone down in bullets, sand, and glory, but instead I'm sitting here rotting away of boredom and booze. And, like for a character that's only in, like, literally has probably 7 to 10 minutes of total screen time. He's just like my favorite. And what a
He stands
fucking
out.
G.
He's like the board, man.
We'll get there. Obviously, you know, Winston doesn't make it too long, but like even in his death scene, the man goes out wasted with a smile on his face. Like he went out the way he wanted. He did like dude did not have any regrets in life. And how does he go out at the very end? He sinks into a pit of quicksand. Again, smile on his face, and his comrades that he did, you know, that he was helping throughout this whole adventure, they give him a fucking salute. They send him off the right way, and he gets to join his buddies in Valhalla, like where he should be. Like, what a G! Like,
Stud.
if there was any character I could party with in this movie, it'd be Winston.
Fuck yeah.
He's straight up buried in his plane. I mean, yes, that's fucking hard.
Mhm.
So cut. I'm not trying to get us all off track, but like cutting to the next scene, like they're in that bar, and then it cuts to the American that lost his eyes, and Benny and Emotep are in his room.
Man,
And I
that
gotta
poor
say,
bastard.
this is where I come in again with the costume design, because the mask that Emotep is wearing is so fucking cool.
It's so scary.
But just that, dude, Colby, that conversation he's having, he's like, you know, he also needs your eyes and your tongue and everything. And it's just like, fuck, dude.
He like kind of realizes who's sitting across from him at that point, and
exactly. And it's just like, again, Benny's just selling it so well. He's just like, oh, he wants to meet you, blah blah, and then he realizes like, oh fuck, I'm about to die.
Yeah.
And that mask comes off, and like all those scarabs just like scatter away into his fleshy body. Man, but then after that, we're introduced to that first plague. They all take a shot.
Yeah, they take the shot, turns to blood,
spit it out, and like tastes just like blood.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jonathan does the quote. I said, "And the rivers and the waters of Egypt ran red and were as blood."
Mm-hmm. And then isn't that right when the moon also like, or no? Is that a little bit later?
Yeah, it's a little bit. Yeah, because this then cuts to Evie, and she pretty much Rick runs into her saying like, "Hey, it's time to go." And they go back because that's right when the meteors start coming down.
Yes, dude. Yes, because I knew they were still in the bar. The meteors start falling, and of course, yeah, they run up to get Evie, and old Emotep turns into sand, creeps into her room. But
not yet.
Again,
that's later.
Is it later?
Yeah, so this is the part where Benny's running down the stairs, and he sees Rick, and he turns around and starts running back up. He catches him,
and again
this
catches
is where
him, throws him against
he catches him, throws him against the wall. But this is where we see that the first American is completely drained, and we see Emotep starting to shapeshift. He's going to his second form, like everything's starting to. Which, dude, that part, the CGI of him, like, you know, regenerating, like you even see like. He goes like this, and his muscles start coming back, and his roar changes to sound more human. And then Rick just has that gun pointed at him. He's like, "We are in serious trouble."
The dialogue when he's sitting with that dude, you know, right before he absorbs him, when Benny kind of chimes in and say, because you know the guy's like, "I'm so pleased to meet you," and he reaches out to shake his hand. Prince Emotep does not like to be touched, I'm afraid. Silly Eastern superstition. That is actually taken from the original. That dialogue is from the original 1950, and I'm pretty sure the mask he is wearing as well. Same exact scene. It plays out very similar, except like the dude doesn't like absorb him, but that exact where he's like, "Oh, Prince Emotep does not like to be touched. Silly Eastern superstition, I'm afraid." That's taken from the 1950s Mummy. And so I love how, you know, as much as a remake this is, I mean, the Mummy's been around since, I would have to look it up, but I think it's like the 30s at least.
Yeah,
the original Universal Monsters movies. Man, like what a great remake of a classic story. And so yeah, like um let's see, where are we at? So Benny just
real quick,
got
I want to
yeah.
throw in a fun fact. Unless Colby, do you have anything to add real quick?
Nope.
Okay, so fun fact, since you're talking about remake and everything, there were actually a number of different directors that this was given to.
Mhm.
The first one being Clive Barker, and we know him from directing Hellraiser. So he had a
That would have
lot
been
of different
interesting.
ideas. He wanted this to be in the modern times, where the mummy was reanimated by an MRI machine and fell in love with the the curator assistant. So he had his own thing. It was also offered to Joe Dante, the director of Gremlins. Then it also went to George A. Romero, and we know him from Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Also given to Wes Craven. He immediately turned it down. And the last one was Mick Garris, and he was the creator of The Critters. So went to all these different directors, but Stephen Sommers had the idea. Like he's just like, you know what? I like the idea of this, but he didn't want to go modern times. He wanted to keep it like old school 30s type of vibe, just because of the original Mummy. He wanted to keep it in that aspect feel.
Right
And
choice.
I'm
So that's my fun fact. I
very
wanted to.
no, and I'm so glad he did. I mean, unfortunately, we've kind of seen, not to completely derail us here, but we've seen what a modern mummy looks like. And, I know they're getting ready to release a new one. It looks pretty decent, but I'm a fan. I'm just such a huge fan of period pieces,
Yeah.
especially when they do their due diligence and make the sets, the clothes, the props as close as you can get to the original. I mean, and this guy, he did a phenomenal job. Like, I don't think uh I mean, arguably there's a million movie weapons, but man, Rick O'Connell's pistols, and I actually looked them up. Uh, they're French made, like 1930s. I would have to look at the exact make, but of course you can't find them. They were at one point actual pistols manufactured. You can find them on classic gun sites and stuff like that, but for the most part, I mean, they don't exist anymore. They're so hard to find. Um, but I mean, dude, like for when you're talking movie weapons, Rick O'Connell's look, the leather bandoliers, the revolvers with the rings on them. I mean, I'm so glad they stuck to the 1930s aesthetic because
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't feel like it would have been nearly not the
So
same story, obviously. It just wouldn't have been the same film by any stretch of the
and
imagination.
one thing he definitely did is he took inspiration from Tomb Raider and Indiana Jones. So we have like just the type of look that he has with the double pistols. That's
Yeah,
one thing he got a lot of inspiration to do this with. So
you can
just
feel the Indiana Jones for sure.
For sure.
exactly. So progressing this scene, this is where we see him just like unloading constantly into the mummy. He gets tossed back
And he's just yeah,
into the Americans. Yeah, and then that's when I believe
the
no,
cat.
oh, the cat shows up on the piano. He freaks out and then shoots out of the window. And this brings us to them stomping into the museum, being like, "Yo, what the fuck's up?" Because you see the curator and Agatha
And the
Bay
Magi.
talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like,
Uh-huh.
they draw the guns. He's like, what is he doing here? Like, do you really want to shoot us? Or he's like, do you really want to know, or do you just prefer to shoot us? And Rick's just like, you know what I just saw, I'm
I'm
ready to
really
go out.
Yeah.
dude.
Which I love that he says
And
that. He may be a hard ass. He wants to get into the fight, but he's just like, you know what? He's got a brain too. He's just like, yeah, let's hear what the fuck's going on because this isn't right.
what a hard line because honestly, like just putting myself in Rick's place, I'm just taking a shot with a buddy and it tastes like blood and I step outside and meteors are raining out of the sky, just blasting into the side of the pyramids. After everything I just saw, I'm willing to go on a little faith. Yeah, me
Yep.
too, Rick. Like let's instead of me shooting you, because yeah, he's got the this undead mummy on his ass, obviously. Um, yeah, let's see what you've got to say. And that's kind of when they break down the whole we're the
3,000 years they've
Magi,
been protecting it.
3,000 years we've been keeping this a secret, and here you guys come along fucking it all up like you Americans do. Yeah, sorry, it's what we're good
Well,
at.
Rick randomly throws in like, I love that they're breaking down, and Rick's just like, why doesn't he like cats? And they're like, oh well, they're the guardians of the underworld, and I
Yep.
love that line so much because he's just like, practically he saw that there was some kind of weakness, and now he wants to exploit it or find out how he can use that in his arsenal. I love that he asked that
Only
question because it's small, and it was kind of funny though how he asked it, but it had a point behind it.
but only and like he says, that trick will work only until he's fully regenerated. Well, how
Yep.
does he regenerate? By sucking us all dry. That's how, and it's like
Oh,
even like,
pause.
and I feel, yeah.
No, I was just saying because
Well,
it sounded sketchy. That's why I said pause. Sexual thing. Anyways.
well, I mean, hey, it is what it is, but like, well, and we don't obviously see too much of his other victims, but like, man, the old boy who already lost his eyes and his tongue when they discover his body, and he's just that husk, like just bone and whatever flesh is left, and he's completely dried up. It's like, oh man, whatever he's gonna do to you, it's awful. And you kind of see it again, violence via silhouette.
Silhouette,
The main American dude where he just Emotep breaks in and he's trying to shoot, he's unloading his pistols, but he just gets taken out by that sand wave. And you see his body, his shadow, like lift up, and it just like dehydrates. He
dehydrates.
becomes
Yeah,
deep.
just
Yeah,
He even
you just
tosses his ass. Like you can see him even go like this. And
yeah,
I love that because even before that, the British dude is running through the streets because this is after Evelyn gets locked in the room. He's like, freaking, she doesn't come out, no one goes in, blah, blah, blah.
yep.
And you see him like running. And like, I always love that scene because he's in that very long path, and you see him at the end of the alley, and then he comes that close up, and then he just look and you just see the Emotep's eye staring at him. And
Yep.
then once again, he comes back, and this is the best part, Chubb, that you were talking about earlier. Who does he find ransacking the room? Benny. And
Fucking
that infamous scene, he grabs that chair and just fucking whips it across the room and knocks him out. And Johnson's just like, good shot. And then Colby, what does he do?
he
He
grabs
throws
him.
his ass up against the fucking wall.
He does this like 3 or 4 times, and then not to mention just brute strength, like lifts him in the air towards that
Yeah.
fan. Like it's so good.
Exactly.
He's
Dude,
fucking him up.
And then in classic shithead Benny fashion, how does he get out of it? He fucking knees him in the groin.
Yeah.
Just nails him right in the schnutz. And Rick is like, and Benny just hurls himself out a window and scurries off like a little cockroach that he is. It's like, Benny, you're just the worst. I want to like you, but you just prove every time and time again, you're just the fucking worst. You're a piece of shit. I don't even know why Rick doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, why does he even waste his breath on you? If I were in Rick's position, I would just take out that gun as soon as I saw you and just pop it and be, just be fucking done, dude. Like, you left me for dead so many times.
I think there's something back there. Like maybe Benny saved his life at one point, and he has some kind of I don't know.
There's definitely history there.
There's
history.
something.
But this brings us to the part, and like I don't like this in general. I've gotten this fear since watching Nightmare on Elm Street. Benny jumps out. They look down. The professor is just completely sucked dry and surrounded by people. And Emotep just looks, and his mouth elongates, and all those fucking bees or whatever comes out. And like, dude, anytime there's a large mouth, it terrifies me. So that part right there, these the bees come out, and then we cut, like you said, it cuts to the American. He's doing the whole at the jar, gets sucked dry, and now he is sneaking up on girl in the bedroom after he turned into sand and sucked in through the keyhole.
The keyhole.
And you can see
Yeah.
like, now he's in stage 3. Stage 4, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. At
4
that
now?
point. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so stage 4, he is literally almost regenerated, and
It only got like that his cheek, right? Yeah.
the
Crunch.
scarab comes
Like,
Oh.
out and just crunches down and eats that fucking scarab. Oh my god, man! But even then, like he kisses her and his mouth just starts to dissolve, and he's like, "Hey, get your ugly face off of her!" And just again, that long mouth starts talking, and Rick again, he asked that question. Motherfucker went out, found a cat, and he's like, "Look what I got." And he just hisses and he just bolts again. Like that, I love that scene so much because that
so
cat
cool.
was on cue with that hiss, man. It was great.
And what a great, I mean, you know, we're not 100% sure what Emotep's powers really are. Obviously, it's established at that point he can kind of turn into sand and apparently make water and booze taste like blood with the curse, you know. But
Yeah, right.
no, I mean, when he sees that cat and he just dissolves into a mini sand tornado and just blows his way out of the hotel, I'm like, dude, this is so fucking cool. Like, again, scary. He's a scary villain, but so cool.
With that scene right there, Shelf, I gotta mention it because I thought it was cool. Like, obviously, I believe it's in reverse, because the sand gets sucked out, but it looks like it has to be in reverse because I think the windows are open and then it gets sucked out and then the windows are closed. And I love that effect because I know you went to film school. I thought that
Yeah,
was
so
cool how
they
did
definitely filmed it in reverse, the Sam Raimi style, where they blow sand in, you know, through the windows,
Yeah.
and they film it coming in, but then they just play the footage in reverse because it just makes
I love how they
the
did
window
that.
slams. Yeah, again, just old film techniques, practical effects.
that
I mean,
still work and look great. I mean, so
dude,
good.
again, you know, give it another. It's 2026 now. You know, so this movie's over a quarter of a century year old. It'll still look great at half a century, a full ass century. This movie, I mean, a hill I'm willing to die on. This movie is timeless.
Yeah,
It is.
I see it. What do we got? Is
Um,
next like the Emotep's like zombies coming in?
Yeah.
Boils
Plague's
the next.
sword.
Yeah, because he already
That's
sent
his favorite one.
yeah, Jonathan's favorite. Yeah, so you get the zombies chasing him, hunting them down. You know, Emotep, which are, you know, leads into another great
Great
Jonathan
scene,
scene
yes.
when he's getting chased by the horde.
It just shows how quickly his brain works to get out of something again.
Not
Again,
the
he
bravest
always comes
way,
through.
but
No, not at all.
it's not sexy, but he survives.
No. But,
Hey,
what is it?
hey, if you would have been caught, you would have been cut up like crazy. So that was some smart thinking right there, man.
They were all
And then we
carrying
also
hatchets and swords and machetes. Like, yeah, and Jonathan
everything.
just like on his feet, like he's getting ready to run, but he just stops and he goes,
Emotep.
Emotep. You know, he's just trying to blend it, and it works. And it's
It
like,
worked.
Jonathan, bravo, dude.
Yes.
And also this brings us to the part where Evelyn, she finds the actual text and translate it properly and finds that the Book of Amun-Ra is I'm not even sure if I'm saying it. I think the Amun-Ra might be coming from freaking Night at the Museum 3, honestly.
No, you're right.
but
It's the Book of Amun-Ra.
Okay. So yeah, she goes through it. She's translating it. She says the Golden Book of Amun-Ra is inside Hamunaptra and the Horus statue.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Take that, Benberg scholars." And I think she says that a couple times, but it just shows like how incredibly smart she is. To one, she's under pressure. She's translating ancient Egyptian, and she finally realizes their mistake during that 2 minutes she had to read that actual that text.
The best line in that scene, you know, patience is a virtue. Not right now. It isn't.
Not right now.
They got the horn. The horn is like busting through the doors. Yeah. So I mean, she discovers the book they need to undo all this bullshit is right back where they started. So unfortunately, the curator, he ends up getting his in this scene. Well, Rick almost does too.
I gotta say, right before that is probably one of the coolest, like, I guess, what we call it, a chase scene with the car, where all of them are jumping on the car and they're just fighting them off.
Yeah,
That
Dude,
was.
I mean, I love that scene.
And
You know, even
the
Evie's just like pokes one dude in the eye and flips him off. Like,
yeah,
that's great. Yeah,
no,
because was
well,
it that's also when oh, sorry,
the American. No, I mean that's when the last American. You know, that's when it's all where you think at this point in the film, okay, it's all over, it's done, because the last American, he ends up getting grabbed and pulled out of the car, and you know, he does his due diligence, he whips out his pistols and he's firing off into the crowd until click 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 click, and here comes old boy Emotep with that nasty smirk on his face. You know, he just does that just smile, and you don't even see it because you know what.
And it's like he knows that he's done for.
I mean, he tries, like, you know, can't blame the guy. He tries to just be like, "Hey, are we good? Like, I'll give you this back." And Emotep just screams at him. Scene cuts, and so yeah, the last American, the last dude to be cursed, gets absorbed. Emotep's back at full strength, and oh shit, you know, we've got a whole another level of mess on our hands now that Emotep's back to where he needs to be, and he's gonna do what he wants to do. Is the next scene after, you know, the main cast escapes? That's when they go to meet up with Winston and jump in his plane, right? Get back to Hamunaptra.
Oh yeah. We definitely got to mention,
So,
like,
yeah.
that scene also is when Evie gets taken by Emotep. And
Yeah,
runs
that was
away.
it.
You mentioned the curator makes that last stand so they could all escape into the sewers, and he says, "We're going to get her back." But yeah, this is when we go. We see Winston. He's just like, "Hey, Winston, what you doing? Got a job for you, buddy."
Exactly. So, yep. Thank you for filling in the blanks. So yes, Evie gets taken by Emotep. The deal was, if she goes with Emotep, your friends get to live, which, you know, not that he's full of shit. So whatever. Curator sacrifices himself like a G. O'Connell and crew escape into the sewers, and they go to meet up with Winston to get him back to Hamunaptra. And again, maybe 5 more minutes that you see Winston on screen, but what a fucking G, man. Like, what do they say to him at the airport where he's sitting there? He's sitting there under his umbrella, drinking his tea like a true Brit. And they're all like, "Yep, we need to go to what is it? Save the girl."
He says, "Rest the damsel in distress, kill the bad guy, save the world."
Bingo. And by George, are you sure I'm the right man? Yep, and you're probably not going to live through it. Do you really think so? Probably not. And he's like, "All saddle up, let's go, boys.
Let's go."
And that's
Winston
what they do. Yep. I mean, the true Brits, that's how they salute. You know, we do it like this. They got their hand out. He gives them a solid salute. They saddle up in his old World War I biplane. Of course, O'Connell is manning the machine gun in the back. Jonathan is strapped to the wing. Hey, dude, there's no more seats. Figure it out. You know, he's gonna be fine. It's just Jonathan. Dude, are you all right? Do I bloody look all right? Shut up, Jonathan. You're fine.
Dude, I love he switches to the next wing, and he's like, and on that bay is just like sitting there. He's like, "How you doing?" He's just like, because you got to think, this dude has probably never ever been on a plane.
He's never
and
flown,
his first time, he's fucking strapped to the wing of a plane. He's just like, he's eating that shit up. He's just like, "This is great."
Yeah, he's having the time of his life.
We see the big ass sand tornado.
Yep. I've never seen one that big. Never?
Yep.
No. And of course, it's all Emotep doing his thing. And again, like arguably definitely for the trailers and the movie posters at the time, the most iconic scene of the film. The giant sand wave with the face in it, chasing after the plane. What, dude, like, talk about clutching your pearls. Again, just going back, seeing it for the first time, my heart was racing, like, come on, dude, make it. And you got Emotep, he's doing his whole trans meditation thing. Benny, of course, is there being his shithead self. And Evie ends up saving the day because, again, they're about ready to eat shit in the plane. Emotep's got him. They're struggling in the wave, in the sandstorm. And Evie kisses Emotep to distract him. And it works. Well, arguably, they still crash. Rest in peace, Winston, but
So
they do survive.
I gotta say one thing. One of the funniest scenes, like they crashed, and it cuts to Benny. He's just like, "I love the whole sandwall trick. It was beautiful, bastards." Like it just
Again,
every
such
fucking time.
a shit.
I do have a fun fact I want to throw in. Not sure if you guys know this, but Emotep, they were actually eyeing Daniel Day-Lewis to play Emotep in this movie.
Mhm.
I believe there was some kind of scheduling conflict to where he couldn't do it. But also another big aspect, because we're talking about them in the desert right now. So a lot of these shots are in the desert. It was really hot. Every 2 hours, the cast and crew had to drink this special drink to keep them hydrated because they were sweating out so much. But also, it was very dangerous because of the wildlife there. So several of the crew members were actually bitten or stung by snakes or scorpions, and they had to be airlifted out. And Brendan actually noted, he said they sent a memo out describing a type of snake. I think it had yellow dots on it. They said, if you see this kind of snake, don't go near it. If it bites you, at best, they'll amputate your limb. So anyway, there I was pissing down a rock, and I looked down, and there's a yellow dotted snake, and I was like, "Fuck!" and I just ran for it. And that was a quote that he had in an interview that he actually ran into one of these snakes, almost peed on it, had his schlong out, and he just fucking booked it. I'm not sure if he got finished, but man, he got out of there. He got out of there quick.
I hate
so just a random fun fact I had to throw in there for that.
That's cool.
No, I mean, yeah, and again, they probably would have shot stuff like this on a what do they call a volume is what they call the big green rooms where like all the Avengers movies are filmed and shit. It's just a giant green screen with a bunch of cameras mounted to it. How cool,
so they were, I'm so sorry. No, I'm glad you mentioned that because they were actually wanting to actually film in Egypt, but since there was like a lot of political there's a lot of conflict. Mm-hmm. So they actually shot a lot of this in Morocco. I believe some of the shots were in Arizona as well, but a lot of it was in Morocco in that desert area.
Morocco. Yeah, they actually built the city of Hamunaptra in this pretty famous crescent like rock formation. They built the whole, Egypt style city. But again, like, so glad that they went that route, filming on location, getting those shots, because like it just doesn't hit the same when it's all CGI. Now again, the sandstorm, the big face, is it CGI? Yeah. Can you tell? Yeah. But for its time,
was it awesome?
And with that's what I'm saying, with the pace of the story, and for those 5 to 10 seconds that you see all that CGI, totally, like, you don't even register it because you're so invested in, are they going to make it? Are they going to crash? Are they going to, your brain's just constantly racing because you're so invested in the story at this point. The little bit of CGI they
Doesn't even matter. Can you guys hear me? Sorry, my AirPod died.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
hear
we
you.
can hear you.
Okay.
So
You can go ahead and chime in. I'm gonna go grab my AirPods real quick. My bad, guys.
I will say, speaking of that airplane part, that face is coming at him, and O'Connell just the true American he is. He knows like a gun isn't gonna do anything, but you can't help but to try something, you know. And yeah, just
it doesn't hurt to try.
Yeah,
Bullets
yeah.
may solve this.
just unloading this machine gun
So
into the
yeah,
sand.
that scene. Yeah, unloading it, and like even like he looks at me, he's like, Winston, pedal faster. But yeah, we're to the part. Show party mentioned this earlier. The plane crashes. On that bay, he even takes that machine gun off the plane because he's like,
Yes.
probably gonna need this thing. Winston, obviously, he
Yep.
he dies, sinks into the quicksand, and they give him the salute that hey, he's moved on. And this brings us
Rest in peace, Winston. Yeah.
yeah. So this brings us to the ending of the movie. So the we first see Imhotep, Benny, and Evie in there. Benny's kind of shoving Evie, and she's like, move on. She's like, you know what? These little jockeys or whatever you are, they always get what's coming to them. And he's like, really? He's like, always. So that brings us to we see Rick and probably one of my favorite things. Another one of my favorite scenes. You see Rick and Ada Bay. They're pulling rocks, man. And Jonathan's like, yeah,
Do it.
come on, put your backs into it. And they just stop and look at him. He's just like, well, all right then.
All right then, you're doing good.
Carry on.
This scene always sticks out to me. He finds the blue gold, another one of them scarabs, and he has it on his hand. And he's like, "Hey, you guys should look at this." It just pops out and starts going up his arm. And probably one of the coolest, another cool thing that fucking Rick does, pulls out that butterfly knife.
The
and
butterfly
jigs
knife,
it
dude.
out of his shoulder and flicks it. Like, dude, that scene is probably one of my top 5. It's just like he's just so. He knows he's like, you know what?
He's
We
so
can't
smooth.
amputate.
And-
Let's even get that fucker out.
Not only that, but then pops it with his revolver. Like, what a shot, you know? What a beast.
Dude,
right? I mean that alerts Imhotep, and he takes that jar and just blows. Like, I love that scene too, where he blows it, and he mumbles, and like, now we've got our lackeys joining into the conversation. All of his priests start coming back to life, and like, I love it shows the wall of the actual, them kind of go like that, and they just kind of break out of that wall. Like, I did. Like, it's a really cool thing that they even think that they put people in these actual art behind that. Like, I would never thought of it. Like, I thought they would just be buried, and here they are in the actual wall itself behind those images.
yeah.
I love it. He's just like, hey, go wake up the others and kill them.
Well, and then more like even when they're in the treasure room, priests are breaking out of the ground. Like, still, like, it's like, how many of these dudes did you have working for you, Emo said? Like, and did you just randomly bury them all throughout? It's like, okay. I mean, look, I'm willing to suspend my disbelief and whatever. It doesn't really impact the story whatsoever. But no matter where they go, when they get back to Hamunaptra, dude, it's constant. Like, you think, okay, Imhotep, scarabs. Nope, we're gonna ramp it up more. Priests are starting to wake up, and they're after you too, which even comes into obviously Imhotep is trying to resurrect Anaxunamun. Evie, obviously the sacrifice. Brendan Fraser, Jonathan and company, everybody's trying to fight off all these freaking mummies, these zombie mummies. Still, one of the more unsettling scenes in this part of the story where Rick is about ready to free Evie. She's shackled to the table, and he's got that sweet Egyptian sword, which, Blaine, I know you've said this like 4 times. I've always wanted that sword too.
That sword,
like,
man.
What a badass, like, sweet.
It's
I mean,
so
Rick
cool.
just makes it look good.
Yeah.
Does he not? Like, he just swings. He's slicing dudes in half right and left. He goes to free his old lady, and he gets yanked out. He just gets like pulled off scene, and the scene cuts. He's on the ground. What is it? It's literally a half. An upper torso of a mummy grabbing him, still trying to get at him. And I just remember seeing this movie for the first time, like, oh my, like, these guys aren't going to stop. Like, how's he going to get out of this? Like, they're everywhere. They keep coming. Fucking, the Magi dude, he's already like sacrificed himself, rushing down that hallway, blasting them with the shotgun. Rick's already tossed a stick of dynamite, blown these guys up, and they still keep coming.
And I wanted to say, like, that part right there as well is like, Evie was right, because that's where they find the Book of Amun-Ra, and they got it out. And and I wanted to definitely say that, because that part right there, because even then, Adabe sacrificed himself with Shoddy, and I just love that Rick does that. What does he say? He said, it's either time to open up a door or time to go, and just whips that dynamite and grabs Jonathan and throws his ass. He's like, we got to move on from here. But yeah, that part right there, so we got to the scene of the sword, him fighting, and which I thought was freaking cool, because I even saw the behind the scenes, and he had to practice that, because obviously these guys aren't there. Rick is just swinging, then they had to add the mummies later on, but they did choreograph it, because there were parts on the actual stage that he was at where the mummies may be. But that scene, like you said, I just love that he grabs that hand that grabs the sword, and he just cuts that dude's legs, and they just falls back in the stone. But the fact that what always cracked me up is that his legs shot up with it at the end.
Yeah. I do want to say, I think we're getting to where you kind of see that little bit of Jonathan, where I'm sure it's through his sister, but he's pretty smart when he needs to be. He can read the book, a little bit of it.
He's not an idiot. Look, I mean, when he pushes himself and he really applies himself, he's a smart. He clearly has the same schooling and background as what Evie has.
He can read ancient Egyptian, just not as good.
Exactly. Exactly. Like he's, man, as much as you hate to admit it, sometimes he really is a huge help to the group. He's not just your bumbling idiot out there, out there for comedy relief.
Yeah.
He really does.
He saved him with the car.
To the overall.
I gotta call timeout. So you do say that, but what happens when he reads the first inscription on the book?
Yeah, he makes it worse for a second.
Yeah, he makes it worse for a second, because he can't pronounce a certain part of the inscription, and it's like, it's a bird, it's a stork. Hamunaptra.
And now the very skilled killers come out, and Imhotep's just like, fucking kill him. And Rick's just like, you can see it in his face. He's like, motherfucker, seriously?
But arguably, Jonathan, he does, like, in class, it's like seeing the old 90s or 80s action movies where the bomb ticks down to 1 before they cut the right wire. That was Jonathan in that scene where he Hamunaptra, and as soon as he says it, the swords and the spears are like they're in Rick's face, but he opens his eyes and he's like, okay, maybe I'm not dead. And so, okay, he comes in the nick of, and classic Jonathan, when it really counts, when at the very last second, he will come in and save the day. But yeah, I mean, he's going to do it in classic Jonathan fashion. So what does he do? He takes control of the bodyguard mummies, and he turns them in on girl, Anaxinamun, and turns her into Swiss cheese.
I did want to say something about if I can say something about the bodyguards. So, like, even before that, when Rick is fighting those bodyguards, just some memorable parts. Those 3 jump across the pool, and Rick just goes, and then they do that. And he just goes, and fucking runs.
Dude.
And I gotta say, Rick held his own. Like these guys, I mean, obviously they're dead. They can fucking crawl on walls and everything, and he is still holding his own against all of these bodyguards, man.
They are a huge leap
yeah,
from what he is used to up until this point. They are nothing to fuck with.
Bro's fighting just these slow moving priests, and these dudes are literally got shields, spears, swords, everything, and he's still just kicking ass. And even the part like he's fighting one, and then he just randomly goes like this, stabs one in the head, and just continues to kill the one in front of him.
And whips his head across the. I mean,
exactly.
You can tell
again, Rick. Maybe, yeah.
You can tell these guys. They were soldiers or something. They got some knowledge on fighting, whereas before, like
absolutely.
those other guys were just like servants or something.
Yep.
Yeah. And,
so
and that's what I mean. Like maybe it's the sword, maybe it's Rick. I don't know, but like he just makes it look so fucking good. Like he just again taking on all those actual mummy soldiers, and at the last minute, Jonathan, he figures out the inscription. Rick obviously makes it by the skin of his teeth, and Moon gets slaughtered. Jonathan turns the soldiers on to her, and and again, like Kobe, it comes full circle. I feel bad for Emotep. I almost feel for the guy. It's like, damn, dude, the worst thing you did was fall in love. That's all he did. He fell in love with a chick who was already taken, and he's paying for it for the last 3,000 years.
And I want to say something with her death, and it mirrors just like the Seti the First. Like whenever she was getting stabbed again, it was that silhouette of them just hacking her apart, man. It's just I love how they did that, that two scene right there.
Beautiful.
Yeah. It definitely full circle, like you said, and even then it kind of plays into it because you see Emotep just get mad at this point. He's like, "Give me that book," and Jonathan drops it because even Evie said, "Like, we need the key. It's in his robes." And I feel like Jonathan, when he's being choked, he was either going to try and pickpocket, but then Rick comes in and cuts off his arm, and he's just like, he has the key now, so now we can finally get to the point. Like, let's try and kill him. I mean, Rick gets tossed like crazy a couple times, but
all in a day's work.
Well, and totally. I mean, Rick can take it, and what a great,
just something cool about him when they get his arm cut off.
Yeah, like
just going
reattaching
back
it.
on.
Yeah, he just reattaches it like it's nothing. And what a great scene, like where it's supposed to kill him, and it does. It takes his immortality. The whole ghost chariot coming through and ripping out his immortal soul. Like, holy crap, so cool. But he's still standing. And it is for a minute. It's like a shit your pants moment where, oh man, he ain't dead. Like, are you sure you read the inscription right? Did we fuck up? No. And then Rick, he just walks right into the sword, and Rick stabs him through, and he's bleeding. And the little bit of blood that you actually see in this movie, he's like holding his stomach, and Emotep backs into the pool, and he realizes like, this is it, I'm mortal now. And Evie reinforces that, she says he's mortal. But he just backs into that pool, and I love what they chose to do, which is he reverts back to his mummified self. Like, it slowly creeps up, like as he's backing into the water, and his body is slowly disintegrating back into its mummy form. But he's got just enough energy to look up at everybody and say, well, whatever he says in ancient Egyptian, but death is only the beginning, hinting that, okay, well, I'll be here next time. Exactly. And mind blown. I mean, what a great,
I'm sorry, we missed a very, very key scene, and I just realized this. As all this is going on, when they're in the treasure room, right when the priests come up, Benny enters the scene.
You're right. You're
And
right.
he starts like he's like looking around. Yep. He said like so we see him first off. He's got a huge bag, drags it out, tries to get that camel, cursing it, puts one bag on, and then he realizes, hey, I'm gonna get greedy and go back for more. So he
You would have
goes
been
back for
set for
more.
life.
Dude, right? So he goes back, and we see him because right after that, it cuts to Benny coming out, and he's got another satchel full. Obviously, dude gets tired, puts it down, and then that was the trigger to blow up. Pretty well, I should say, completely.
The lever.
What was it called? The
Yeah.
self-destruct button, if you will, of an ancient tomb.
Yep.
Yep. Sorry,
And-
I was
and-
just thinking about that. I'm like, we completely missed that scene.
Yeah,
It's very
yeah. I
important.
was about to just bring that up, and then again, we talked about they kind of have this history. You know, it's like Rick still kind of cares for Benny because they're making their way out, and he's coming, and he still tries to help him, but he's just a
He's like,
little,
come on.
yep,
Yep.
just a little too far behind. Goodbye, Benny.
Dude, can we
Yeah.
talk about that scene real quick? Where he is
Yeah.
he's trying to crawl back into the oh god. That part freaks me out because he's trying to crawl back
Dude.
into the treasure room and it's just coming down and like just like
Well,
the claustrophobia gets me, man.
talk about mirrored scenes. It again, you know, I actually, part of my notes here, it actually circles all the way back to the very beginning scene when we're introduced to Benny, when, you know, they're standing in their line and Rick gets his promotion because Captain hightails it out of the battle, and Benny starts running away. And what does he do? You know, he runs into that tomb and closes the door, and you know, the whole time O'Connell is, Benny, don't you close that door, don't you close that door. And Benny just slams the door in his face and is like, see ya, fuck you, you know, like, good luck. Except O'Connell is trying to help Benny at the end, you know, like you said, Colby, at the no matter what, to his final scene in the movie, O'Connell is trying to be the bigger man and help Benny out of his self-made bullshit mess. But eventually, like Evie said, you know, boys like you always get their comeuppance. Always. Yeah. And it's like, dude, like, I mean, you were set. You could have just taken that one satchel full of gold on that camel and rode off into the sunset, and you would have been set for life. But you had to get greedy.
Like you said earlier, he prays to the almighty dollar, and this bit him in the ass. Just real quick before we talk about what happens to Benny, you said Evie, and that scene still sticks in my head. They're seriously about to run. Jonathan falls and drops the gold book of Amun-Ra, and she's just like, "What? You dropped it? What?" And they're like, "Come on!"
Oh yeah. After all that, I mean, and you know, I've made peace with it, seeing this movie so many times. But yeah, when I first watched this movie, I was thinking the same thing. You came all this, like, out of all the treasure, out of all of the treasure that you could have taken, you butterfingered the fucking book of Amun-Ra and dumped it right into the water as the ceiling is caving in. Like, Jonathan, you're fucking up, dude.
You would think Jonathan, the person who loves money more than anything and shiny things, he would have held on to that like no one's business. But
you would have thought,
yeah,
whatever.
I mean,
also
the ceiling's coming down on you. I forgive him. I mean, how terrifying.
Yeah. I mean,
but still,
it all worked out. It all worked out. As you know, we'll talk about here in a few seconds when, you know, they make it out and all that. Yeah. You know, but Jonathan is fine, but God damn it, Jonathan. Yeah. So yeah, like what you're saying though, the scene with Benny trying to get out, like, and tell me you don't feel a little bit sorry for now. Again,
I do.
Yeah.
From the beginning, you're supposed to hate Benny, and everybody kind of hates Benny. He's an easily hateable character. Does he deserve what he got?
Yeah.
I mean,
he
feel bad
it for sure.
I really didn't,
but I still feel bad for him.
I personally didn't see him kill anyone. Yeah, did he help Imhotep kill people? Yeah, but he personally didn't kill anyone.
And you
No,
even
I'm
see
just saying.
when Emotep does kill him, like Benny looks away. He's like, "Oh my god, this is
Exactly.
yeah,
like I'm
that's what
just
I
trying
mean.
to
He's
survive
got
here. I'm not an evil guy.
And you
I
could
just
I'm loving dude, I'm so happy you said that because even yeah, like you said, throughout it, like you can see like he didn't
he's
really want to do this. It's like
yeah.
he kind of was forced to.
He's not a killer.
he's not
And
evil.
He threw the gun when he
yeah,
was running away. Like I'm not a fighter. I'm not a killer. I'm a sleazeball.
He's just a
just
coward.
trying to
He's just
fun.
a
Yeah, he's just
coward
trying to fun.
sleazeball.
Yeah,
And God damn it, Benny. Like, and you know, that's why, like, that final moment where Rick, you know, the ceiling's coming down and Benny is hollering through the crevice, you know, oh God, don't leave me. Don't leave, you know, and Benny, come on, give me your hand, give me your hand. And I mean, 5 seconds. 5 seconds earlier, and Benny, you would have been a free man. But God damn it, and you can tell even O'Connell, he takes the 2 seconds, and goodbye, Benny. He didn't have to sit there and
Exactly.
say anything. He could have just immediately booked it out of there. But even Benny meant enough to him where he took those 2 seconds and said, you know, goodbye to my friend. And it's like, I think
yeah,
we all have somebody like that, you know, where we know it's like, yeah, they're not the best. They kind of suck, but they're not bad people. You know what
yeah.
I
I
mean? It's
mean,
like, yeah,
they were soldiers together. You know, they were brothers of
yeah.
war. So I mean, that's got to go farther than
It's got to
anything.
count for something.
Yeah, like
Exactly.
he probably saved him, you know, a couple times, or at least help him get through the trenches of war, which count for something. So
Yeah. Yep.
Exactly. And the scene, I mean, we're now to the scene where unfortunately Benny does die. So like he's in the treasure room, the ceiling is everything's closing up. There's nowhere to
The
escape.
mirrors are
The ceiling
breaking.
comes
Yeah.
down. Yep, the door breaks, and the only light in there is the torch that he's holding. And next thing we see is a scarab that pops up on one of the statues, and he's shooing it away. And next thing you know, he is just completely like they're pouring into this area, and he is just completely surrounded. And standing there holding it, and you see that thing because obviously the air is getting sucked out of the room, slowly goes out, and then you just hear the crunching and his scream. It's just like you
Yeah.
said.
Like,
I do feel bad for the guy. Do I think he had to come in? I mean, on now I've seen it multiple times. I don't think he deserved that type of death, but it was bound to happen.
yeah, it's one of those, like, did he deserve it? No. But do I feel bad that's what ended up happening to him? Not really, because he would have left anyone else to the same fate.
yeah,
You know what I mean? He wouldn't have even did what Rick did and reach back and try to pull him out. You know, he would have just been like, Benny would have been gone. So it's like, well, Benny, like, you know, naughty boys like you always get their comeuppance. And rest in peace with your treasure. It's unfortunate, but not totally unexpected. And uh, well, I almost said in true Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones has some kind of cliffhanger, open endings, but like for this movie, um, what a cool you know, they don't even realize as far as what we see in the final 3 minutes of the movie when they escape the tomb of Hamunaptra. They get on the camels, they do the classic let's ride off into the sunset. They don't even acknowledge that they have the treasure, which, you know, maybe we'll do a review of the Mummy too. You know, it's pretty obvious they realize they get treasure
yeah,
at the end of this
yeah.
movie. They walk away pretty loaded, but they don't even realize they have Benny's treasure. They just hop on the camel, and you know they don't even mention that the fact that they, other than the little glimmer that we see where the sunlight reflects off the gold sticking out, it's like, okay, yeah. I mean, it really is a pretty solid, satisfying, everybody wins type of ending. Well, you know, except for Benny.
Yeah.
But
Well, I gotta say as well, we also find out. I mean, honestly, the run scene out of that, the whole entire place is just coming down, and I love like the special effects, all the sand's going everywhere. You see the stones overturning, and we get our last jump scare of the film when Adabe grabs Jonathan's shoulder, and we realize, hey, he's still alive. Like
Hell
we thought
yeah.
he
Yeah.
sacrificed himself. And
Yeah,
old boy's
boy.
still kicking, man. So again, last jump scare, and he's just like, you know what, my people, thank you. You flat out saying like, you guys will always be part of this this tribe of us. And yeah, like you said, he's just like, you know what, we left empty-handed. And Rick, that, like you said, the whole, you know, silhouette of the romance is like, well, I wouldn't say that. Gives her a kiss. I mean, I love the last bit of comedy. He's just like, come here, baby. You want a kissy wissy at the camel? It's just like, "Ugh." And he's like, oh, God.
Oh, God.
It was just the best.
Yeah.
Great ending. Like you said, cliffhanger. They don't know they have the treasure. And then it just comes, honestly, to one of the coolest credit scenes I thought was just like the cool Egyptian running through. But Colby, what you think of the end, man?
I mean, it was perfect. A feel good ending. It's awesome. It's probably a reason why you can just keep rewatching this movie. For me, endings are so big. If I leave feeling good, you know, it's a movie I'll just watch over and over and over again, which I do. So,
Yeah.
great movie. I'm sure here in 2 weeks I'll rewatch it again, as I tend to do.
Hell yeah.
It's one of my all-time favorites. I never get bored of it. I love this movie. It's scary. It's funny.
Just-
it's dark. It's amazing.
Just off the cuff, if you guys had to guess, like just totally stab in the dark, how many times would you personally say you've seen The Mummy so far?
Oh,
I think I'm probably in the 40s. Like respectfully, like watched all the way through, I would say I'm probably in the 40s.
I'm creeping. I mean, yeah, dude, I've got to be over 50 at this point. I mean, I'm just there for a while. I mean, I have a list. It's not maybe 10 movies or so that I can just play on repeat, throw on anytime, fall asleep to, just play for background noise.
Yeah.
The Mummy is absolutely one of them, and in terms of just watching it, at least 50 for me.
for me, it's
It just
hard.
never gets old.
This was one of my go to bed movies, so I don't know if I would count that because I'd fall asleep kind of halfway
Sure.
through.
I'm gonna count it.
I mean,
Yeah,
I count.
yeah,
so if you're
I
counting
would.
that,
I would count it
that's,
because
I mean,
Colby,
crazy.
you were watching that in your
Like
dreams,
Yeah, in my
100.
dreams,
In your
baby.
dreams.
Probably, yeah, 70. Like, you can ask Brittany.
Yeah.
She even told me, like, when I was reviewing this, she's like, you don't even need to watch it. This was our go to bed movie
I
forever.
didn't either, but I watched it 3 times this
Yeah.
week, and no regrets. You know, it's like it's perfect.
Yeah, I'd say probably 60 to 70, and then maybe half of that, like,
Yeah.
full through. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, this was back. I
So,
had it on
yeah.
DVD. It would just stay in the DVD player, and I'd have to have something to watch going to bed.
Yeah.
And it would just,
Absolutely.
Shawshank Redemption, same way. That was in the DVD player
It's-
forever.
yeah.
There you go. So
Yes,
I've
dude.
got some more fun facts to end us out. If that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So for the lead role, here is the 4 actors that were supposedly wanting to play Rick O'Connell. All right, so we have Brad Pitt, Ben Affleck, Tom Cruise, but the main one that they were really looking at was Leonardo DiCaprio. At the time, he was doing The Beach, so he was obligated to that. And they said that he actually could have done The Mummy because there was such a big break in filming that he could have done The Mummy, but Brendan Fraser had just come off of George of the Jungle, and they loved his aesthetic. And when he came in to do the audition, they just loved his his build, everything. And they're like, this is your role. So he got that role, hands down.
The right choice.
Yeah,
The
I
right
agree.
choice. Oh
if
my
this
God.
was, you say Tom Cruise, if this was Tom Cruise, it would not be what it is. I can tell you that.
Which is
I mean,
which is funny because I
Yeah,
want to mention this here
we
in a
have
second.
the
He technically did get
2017.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is my next one.
Awful.
The biggest thing here is the music in this movie was absolutely fantastic. The boom, boom,
Yes.
boom, like everything about it was fantastic. And this was actually done by Jerry Goldsmith. So funny thing is, like while he was doing this, he was actually scoring 3 different movies. One of them, I believe, was the 13th Warrior. I couldn't remember the other two, but after he did this movie, he actually died in 2004. So The Mummy, it was considered his last actual classic scored movies, before his death. And he actually won the BMI award for best music for this film. And I think we all agree the music in this movie was fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, a score is so important
Yeah.
to the movie. I mean, it can make or break a great movie. So
Absolutely.
Yep. It,
So
it
this is my
completely
last,
sets the tone. So that's awesome.
So this is my last bit that I have here. So what this was about money and sequels. So the Mummy had an original budget of 45 million, which was actually bumped to 80 million after they saw the potential in the film. It
Yep.
grossed 450 million dollars. All right,
that's
I
what I'm
don't
talking
believe that
about.
includes. I don't believe that includes DVD sales. But that's where we're at from what I found. This spawned 2 sequels. So we had The Mummy Returns and The Mummy Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. It
Mhm.
also spawned an animated TV series that ran from 2001 to 2003.
Not a terrible show, by the way. I grew up
I
with
haven't seen it, but yeah, I heard
I
good things
watched it.
about it.
Yeah.
Previously. They said it pretty much
It is
follows
not terrible.
Rick and his family on different adventures, but Emotep is still very, very much in that aspect
Yep.
of the
The
series.
the characters
Um,
animated do not look the same due to like actor
Copyright.
facial copyright
Yeah.
issues, so they had to like same names, just the characters don't look the same. But realistically, like for any fan of the Mummy, it's kid wise, it's worth a shot.
Yeah. So coming off that, we also have, like we mentioned, Tom Cruise. It had a reboot or retake of it. The 2017's The Mummy. I personally,
Yeah, we did.
out of the crap, did not like it at all. Sorry.
I didn't even see
For
it.
anyone who does, there you go. You don't need to.
Don't even waste your time.
Exactly. It did actually spawn 7 video games over different consoles. So that's PC, Game Boy. I believe there's a couple. There's 7 different games that were made based off the Mummy. It also spawned a ride at Universal, which I actually got to ride, and it was pretty freaky. Like the Mummy ride at Universal was absolutely fantastic.
It's awesome.
Because the scene where he comes out and he's like coming towards you, they had that, and it terrified me. So
awesome.
that was. We also do have a new Mummy coming out, a different adaptation, and also confirmed Mummy 4 that is coming and reprising the roles. These are confirmed characters, and we have Brendan Fraser,
and Rachel Weisz. Yep.
And we have a potential, just because they're not confirmed yet. That's John Hannah and Odin Fear. So Jonathan and Arlette Bay, they just haven't been confirmed yet, but it looks like we're going to get an actual confirmation. But that's all I have for the fun facts and overall aspect of it. So 80 million to 450 million dollars, man.
Yeah,
And you got to
not
think of the
bad.
royalties and how many copies they're getting nowadays, because it has actually sparked kind of a cult following as well. So lately, more and more since Brendan is back in the spotlight, the Mummy is being talked about more and more, people coming out sharing that how amazing this film is and how much it means to them.
The internet, just going off of Brendan Fraser's like you said, re-spark as far as his career goes. It's been dubbed the Renaissance. You know, he's experiencing a renaissance of his career. So and every interview I've watched him in, everybody that's ever posted about him online who's met him, you couldn't ask for just a nicer guy. I mean, and you get that vibe from not just Rick O'Connell. I mean, any of his movies, like George of the Jungle, Encino Man. Like you watch a Brendan Fraser movie, there is just like this aura about this guy where he, you can just tell he's probably just one of America's sweethearts. Like I just want to buy the guy a beer and sit down with him and chat for like, well, forever.
Dude, him
But
and
yeah,
Keanu, those two right there,
yes,
like they are just the most genuine people in Hollywood, and I think we can
I
all
believe it.
agree.
I
So
100% believe that.
you just said that, and my wife and I recently watched the Rental Family, where
Yeah,
he goes to Japan and he's rented
Japan.
out as
Mhm.
a father. And if you guys haven't watched that, please do. Like you said, you can just see the genuine aspect of him. Dude actually learned Japanese for this movie, and
Mhm.
even just in interviews of the little girl that played his, daughter in the film. I mean, even on stage, he talks about how amazing she is, and she talks about like how nice of a person he is, and
Yeah.
dude, flat out made her cry on stage just talking about her. And one thing I've noticed about Brendan in all of his interviews, he is so fucking awkward. Like he's that awkward geek, and it
He
really
is.
shows because he doesn't know how to handle the fame that he has. Like he doesn't understand why everyone loves him, and that right there just shows. And him and Keanu both just shows like how genuine they are because they don't let it go to their head. They just do themselves. Like that's just how they are as a person.
Well, and forgive me here. I know this is the longest Gunks episode we've had so far. Just it's the Mummy. We could talk forever. But one thing I'll close with as far as Brendan Fraser, um, the, I don't know if you guys saw The Whale, where he played like a morbidly obese man. Where I mean, worth your time. It's really is worth the watch. But that was his first introduction back into Hollywood after he had to take an unfortunate hiatus due to some
Made
uh,
an impact.
unfortunate work related issues, we'll say. Anybody who's interested can kind of look up what happened. It's truly terrible what happened to Brendan Fraser. But when he did The Whale, he got almost a 15-minute standing ovation once that premiered, and people saw him back acting again, and he did this
Deserved
role.
every second of it.
And if you watch that interview, like the live footage of him when the lights flick on in the movie theater, and he stands up and he kind of buttons up his suit, and everybody's clapping for him, he just starts crying, and he just stands there and he kind of like just waves to everybody, and he's like, thank you, like what an amazing human being. And just to kind of finish that part out, the most um at a Comic-Con, somebody told him, like, wrote him a letter, or no, yeah, they told it to his face, like he got to meet with a fan, and they just told him, "Thank you for making my childhood awesome." And it was because of the Mummy. And it's like, dude, if I could meet Brendan Fraser today, like if I just had the opportunity to shake his hand, I couldn't have said it better.
Yeah.
Like
He
between
did.
all the movies,
He made our
yeah,
childhood. He really did.
Yeah.
and just with this one single movie, I mean, there's a million movies you can think back on when you hear Brendan Fraser's name and be like, yeah, I mean, he's the man. The Mummy. What more? I mean, I don't even know what more I can say other than what a great time to be alive, to be able to witness this movie coming out for the very
100%.
first time and being able to just watch it over and over and over again for the last 25 years. Like, what a treat.
Yep.
Thank you, Brendan Fraser. If you just, if you happen to see this
Yeah. Come on the
podcast.
pod. Come on the pod.
Yeah, please come
Come
on the
on.
podcast. We'll talk your ear off for hours here.
I'm sure we can fit you in.
Absolutely.
It's probably going to be at least 30 minutes of us just worshiping you and your godlike powers. Like
We're not worthy.
we're not worthy.
Oh,
Well, I
But
think
yeah, boys.
that's it.
Colby. You
All
got
right.
anything else to add before we roll out?
No, I think that's it. Thanks again for watching this. That's another episode of the Gunks podcast. We appreciate y'all. We would really like to get people to throw recommendations down in those comments. So there's anything you want us to review or see, put it down there. We'd like to get into that. That'd be really cool. But thanks for watching.